The do's and the don'ts of this.
All right, we've gone ahead and gotten started here. So
Okay.
thank you all for joining us. You are live with the business, and I'm pleased to bring on our guests. So for tonight, we have Tanikia, we have my often wing woman, Ambar, and our other guest, adult film connoisseur, specialty artist, Bethany Benz. Welcome to the business.
Thank
And
you.
this will be an interesting discussion here tonight. On tonight's program, we are discussing men needing to be in control and why that is or is not a good thing. And I have you all here for that purpose. So we're going to go ahead and get started with no further ado. Now, I want to ask each of you here independently. We're going to start with Bethany first, since she's probably had the most experience in this area here. Do you have a problem with men being in the lead, head of household, and calling the shots and setting the rules for you?
Not really. No.
And do you consider that to be a problem, or that is you not being allowed to shine, or whatever the case may be?
I was raised in a household old school way. My mother never worked. My father took care of the bills. So, I mean, that's normal for me. I think even if you want to be independent, you want the man to feel like a man, no matter what the situation is. That's just the way I was raised. If you start wearing the pants, then you don't need a man. I'm just sorry to say that, you know. So.
And what do you expect from a man if he's going to be leading? What are the results you expect?
I mean, just like even if he doesn't make like or he loses his job, just don't make a man ego like just like basically go down. What I expect is just it's not about what you have at the moment. It's like I can date a man that I know is a multimillionaire at the brain. So I know if he goes broke, millionaires go broke all the time. He always gonna make it back. That's just the hustle in him. Like my father had numerous jobs, lost numerous businesses. He never had nobody starve. Like, you know what I mean? So that's a new type of millennium man. Like, so with ups and downs, it's never gonna go all the way down. So yeah, I have
Mhm.
no problem with that type of situation at all because I was raised that way.
Amber, you are married, happily so. Do you have an issue with a man being in control? And I'm prefacing all this. I'll get the three ladies here with prefacing the questions first before I actually get to what they're really going to answer. But do you have an issue with a man being in control? As you obviously, there's a lot of women who seem to have a problem with that nowadays.
So I don't have a problem necessarily with a man being in control. I do feel that when we talk about control, I'm talking about different types of control, right? So like, are you controlling the money? How are we talking about the money, right? How are we talking about how we're raising our children? How are we talking about, am I able to go out? Am I not able to go out? Like all of these things. I think when we talk about control, I want to know, I want some type of like say in some of the things that happen. But I am okay with a man leading and taking the lead in the home.
And you don't feel like that diminishes you or oppresses you?
No, not at all. Because I think although he may lead, he still comes to me, right? Like he still comes to me for support, for advice. We talk about what to do with money, right? Where to put the kids into summer camp, right? So it's like you can lead and you can give your advice, but also making sure that you're taking into account what I feel and what I want. Of course, with you making the one to make the final decision, but us always talking and communicating.
I'm going to come back to that in a few moments here. And Tanikia, even though it might seem a little bit odd in your case here, I want to go ahead and ask you about that also, because we'll come back to that in just a few moments here. But just with a yes or no, you don't have to go into any other areas yet. Okay. Do you have a problem with a man who is in control and leading?
No, I don't. I was raised old school myself, and both my parents served in the military, so that's just kind of how things always were for me. That was the layout of things being raised as a young woman. I'm from Alabama, so the man being in charge and then being a Christian or raised in a Christian home, that's a no-brainer for me.
All right. Now, before we go any further here, because I'm going to get off into the subject matter here, by a show of hands, Will the women is there a woman on this program who has slept with another woman? Show of hands. All right. Well, used to think all the fellas were down low, but glad to hear we got this out of the way early on here. Now, since all of us have had opportunities in that area here, the next thing I want to get to here is what you mentioned, Amber, and I'm going to come back to Bethany here to get her input in this moment. But you talked about what does it mean to be in control? And my answer to that is going to be whatever the man wishes for it to be. When you talk about money, for example, that's a big thing that comes up. And it's like, oh, I don't want a man controlling me. Everybody says that until it's time to pay the bills. When you have a man who takes all the bills off of you, how much control should he expect if he has significantly lowered your expenses for yourself and has improved your standard of living? How much control should that man expect, Amber?
I mean, I definitely think that he is going to deserve respect, right? Because he's the one paying the bills. He's the one contributing, making sure everybody's okay. I just think for me, I still want to say in some things, right? Like I still want to be considered, or for you to think of me, or for you to want my opinion or advice. Because I feel like although you are the man and I'm the wife, like I think that we should still be talking and like partner up on what should be done, how things should be done, how the money should be spent, where it should go, right? So for me, I still want kind of a say in that.
Okay, you want kind of a say so you can do what exactly?
I mean, it depends, right? Because what if for him, he wants to like, we have a nice house, but you want to buy a brand new house just because you want a bigger house, just because you have the money to do so. But I don't want that, right? Like we can use the money for something else. So I kind of want to say in things that I feel like have to do with money or where the money goes or how it's handled, right?
Okay.
Well, if he's got the
Oh my
ability
goodness.
if he's got the
This
ability
is
to do
funny.
that, though, that could be an issue.
Why do you have to say this picture like this picture?
Well, Bethany, now that you mention it here, Miss Bethany Benz,
Why do
you
you have to show that
obviously
picture? That was so funny.
you have definitely dealt with a number of men in various situations, so this is something you're used to.
Okay,
So
what
I
is
would
the-
love to have your input here. By the way, what is the most amount of money that the man you've been with has made?
I don't know.
You didn't ask him?
I don't ask those type of questions. I think it's very rude.
Even if you don't ask, could you tell about how much he was making? Like, is there
Meaning you buy whatever you want. Like
that's the way it happens for you? You just get whatever you want?
no, that's you ask like the men I dealt with, it's like money wasn't an issue. When I said money wasn't an issue, it's kind of lavish. I kind of knew the contracts or whatnot, but I don't really, I don't ask. Like I think when Americans come up to you, it's a time to size you up, put you in a box, and say like, well, where do you work? What do you do? How much money do you make? Like I think that's so rude. You don't know me, and that's the first thing you want to know about me. It's like, what the fuck do I do? Yeah, so I don't ask men that at all. I don't like if you want to tell me, that's different. That's how we get to know each other. But I know the person is doing well. Like you got a plane, a yacht, numerous vacations, black card, whatever. I think you're doing fine.
Okay, so are you really trying to say that how much money a man makes isn't really a priority for you? Come on, Beth.
Money, no, because your money is just as good as anybody else's money.
Right, but
if you're an asshole, I will walk away from that yacht or that plane or whatever. Get me the hell out of here. Because a lot of these people, these people have an ego bigger than planet Earth, and it's just not worth my, it's not worth my life. Sorry. So it's not, no, I'm not a gold digger like that. No, I like to be comfortable, but what do I need $1 billion for? I don't.
Really? So you're saying that money is not a priority for you when it comes to a man?
Any man can wake up and say, I want to be a billionaire. Not every man, but millionaires can become pretty much billionaires. It's not much of a difference in the status. But what do you need all that money for? That's more money, more headaches. If people don't realize that, like you're dealing with a billionaire, you know how much headache. You're not gonna be able to like do regular stuff. Like I like to do regular shit. Like I don't want to go. Yeah, like I would love to move to Dubai, but I still want to like Dubai is still like cursing is illegal, drinking is illegal. All this shit I like to do is illegal. What am I gonna be doing there?
Well, if you're going to be going to Dubai, you must have had the agenda to go. So I think it'd be nice.
Yeah, I went to Dubai numerous occasions.
See, did you like it?
I loved it. It was like heaven on earth.
Okay, but there's only a small percentage of men on the planet who can do that for you.
Well, I guess I met one of them.
No, wasn't
But
that
I mean,
nice?
no, money, in my opinion, in my life, money is not everything. I value mental health, physical health, just, just life at all. Like, if freedom, money, you can always get that. Money is just a means of
Really?
lifestyle. It's not a means of. So any woman that's just like, or even an American, just like money, money, money. If you drop dead right now, you're in a wheelchair, you don't give a fuck about that $1 billion. No, you don't.
So you don't think that money improves your life?
If you fucked up, no, it does not.
Okay, we're going to come back to that, Bethany.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm going to drink my wine or not, sip some tea.
Thank you. And yes, come a little bit closer so I can see you. Tanikia, man, will you correct this about this? Are you going to say that money doesn't matter either? That the person?
No, I didn't say it doesn't matter. I just said
okay, Bethany,
not one.
Just spoke to you. Okay,
God one, health two, mental health.
Ma'am. Okay, I'll come back to you in a moment. You already answered that. Tanikia, if a man has money, if he's paying for your life, if he has significantly improved it, how much control should he expect to have?
I think that's a weird question for me, I guess, just in general, just because I'm a very, I don't know, like 50-50 kind of person, I guess you could say. I think we all have our own weight to pull. So if I am, let's say I'm not working and then my partner is the one that's bringing home all the money, I'm going to make sure that the house is in order. If we have kids, the children are in order. So there's a way and there's a method to the madness. The man is supposed to be the head of the household, depending on your beliefs, right? The head of the household, but his wife or his partner is supposed to be his life mate. So you're supposed to be taking care of all the things that they don't have to take care of. So it should be a 50-50 split. Really, it's 100. It's 100-fold on each side because you're both giving 100% at whatever it is you're doing, whether you're the provider or the nurturer. So I don't know. It just, control is relative because it depends on what matters to you. So for me personally, it wouldn't really do me no never mind because I'm pretty chill. I'm a homebody. I don't do a lot of stuff. And if I do, we'll talk about it. If I want to do something or whatever, we talk about it. And it's either yay or nay.
Well, let me go ahead and ask you about that. So
Mhm.
when you say we both give 100, explain to me what it is. Let's just say that you're with a man who makes $250,000 a year.
Okay.
Now, tell me, what is it that you would be doing that is equivalent to that?
Making sure that his affairs are in order. All of his affairs are in order, right?
That's a metaphor, but can you be specific to that which would equate and be the equivalent of 250,000 plus more dollars?
So I'm gonna tell you one thing is that more than money, just like Bethany said, is your mental health, your physical health, etc. Because you can have all the money in the world and can't do nothing with it because your health is bad. So
let me ask you a question before you go any further. Do you feel at this point right now that your mental health is good?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that your mental health personally is excellent?
I think everybody always has room to grow. So I won't say excellent, but it's good.
Not perfect, but would you say it's good, or would you say it's better than just good? Or would you, because there's good, there's excellent, and then there's perfect. Good luck getting perfect. If anybody finds it, let me know.
Right. I think I'm going to stick with good. I regularly go to therapy, so I'm good.
Okay. Well, that's good to have right there. Maintaining mental health is very important there. Bethany?
Yeah.
As a lady who has had experience in that area also, if a fella's making, I guess in your case, we'll bump that number up a little bit. He's making $500,000 a year or more. What is it that you
about $50 million contract for like 5 years?
Okay. Well, that's $50 million. That's great too. But let's just make it two. Instead of 50, let's knock off the zero. Let's say $5 million a year. What is it that you contribute to the relationship that would be equivalent to his $5 million a year?
I just gotta not give a shit. it comes to a lot of like, things that other people will not put up with. So it's just like the money is higher, the stakes are higher. So you just look that way a lot of times. A lot of times you join in. A lot of times, if you want to be a wife, you have to have threesomes, foursomes, whatever the fuck. And that's just, if that's the lifestyle you want, that's just what comes with it. And anybody that tells you that's otherwise, they're lying. And I know people just said that's fine with me, because I'm going to be, fine or comfortable for the rest of my life. And I don't have to worry about it. I mean, if you're doing that in the streets, I don't see why not. So, so that's basically the stakes go high. You're not just a housewife. You're not just a girlfriend. It's like you the homie, you the this, you the stripper, you the porn star, you the, you whatever, you the pimp, like you all of that. Yeah.
You don't think that would make a difference though? Because the thing is, if a man pays money, whenever a man spends money on a woman, he wants something. That's just universal. If a man spends money,
not necessarily. That's just an etiquette.
You think there's a man who spends money doesn't want anything?
The more money is on the table, the higher the stakes. The
Right,
things that a regular guy will ask you with regular money is not going to be the same things that $50 million on the table or $1 million on the table idea is going to be. You're going to be selling your soul, basically. And
well, it'll be the same. Oh, no, you got fellas who make $10,000 a year, and they'll ask for the exact same thing that the fella making $10 million a year.
Oh, that's never going to happen.
However, you are not what you're trying to say is you're not motivated to accommodate Mr.
Never. I'll be like speaking on English, like
right. You wouldn't be motivated to, but for Mr.
I don't even know, like, how would I even be in contact with a person like that?
Right, but the point is, no matter what a man's income
I'm not
is,
saying
they all want the same. They all want the same thing,
like, why would you
regardless of income. They're going to want the same thing regardless of income, even if he doesn't qualify for it. He still wants it. Now he doesn't qualify.
I mean, I want to be Jesus Christ. So what?
Absolutely. But
Jesus. Like,
now, so if you have a fella here, if his money is straight like that, and he expects those things, he wants the threesomes and moresomes, what does Bethany Benz do?
I'm not with it, but I mean, I've been, that I just know when you deal with those situations, that's what the stakes are.
Okay, let me get this straight. Are you saying you've never had a threesome before?
I never said that.
Okay. Have you had a threesome?
She said, I never said that.
I have numerous threesomes. I think you can even see that for my work, like in my personal life also. So, I mean, I'm not a threesome type of person, but I mean, it happened. So.
Right. But what you're saying is that if you had a man who his paper's straight, his social status is straight.
I would not ask for it. I wouldn't do it.
But if that's what he wanted.
No, he will drop you if you don't do it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm asking you, though, if you were with him and he wanted that, what's your answer?
Well, I dealt in that situation and I just said, fuck you.
Okay, let me try to understand this. So
yeah, I turned that down. Yeah.
You did it on video, on DVD, and it can be sold and people can watch it. You did it there, but in your personal life, you would not with the man. You would do it for producers in Los Angeles, but you would not do it for Mr. $5 million a year who pays your lifestyle. You would
because that's like, when I did it on camera, it's no emotional attachment. And no matter how hardcore I want to sound, like, in personal life, no matter how much I want to turn off that switch, I just can't, because I know I'm going to walk out of there a very damaged person. And I don't want to be that, when I know it's work, it's work. That's not work. That's what you come home to. So that's totally, I don't care about the money. It's not the money. It's like, that means I'm a high score hooker. Like, you might as well just call me that if that's what it is, because it's not a relationship.
Okay, just so I can make sure.
Saying about money, like, I don't want to come home to a dude that wants me to do that. Work is work. That's different.
Right, but what I'm saying though is that if that's the thing he likes, I'm just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, that's not something I'm into. I'm sorry. Like,
so if you were doing it when you do it on video, when you're doing that, you're saying that has less of an emotional impact on you.
Yeah, definitely, of course.
Okay, so it would be, if you had to do it at home, you would consider that to be emotionally damaging.
Very much so, because at least I can, like, stimulate my mind, like, okay, that's what I'm doing, blah blah blah, even though might not be my thing, but I agreed to do it. When you come home, it's like your happy place. And you come home, it's the same bullshit. It's like, what the fuck? No. Like, it's no amount of money. I'm not a sellout. Like, if I sell out on, like, that's what I want to do, that's different. But that's like, nope. Sorry.
Amber, would you do this? Would that be your situation also?
Can you repeat the question in the sense of what?
If Mr. Magic you're married to said, hey, this is what I want. He's knocking down the bills. He's certainly made your life a lot more comfortable. What is Amber's response? We just heard what Bethany Benz's response is. What's Amber's response?
So in the sense of a threesome, you mean?
Well, we can start there. But by the way, please put the kids to bed. OMG. I don't want anybody in therapy in 10 years because they saw this.
Well,
so
I mean, I think as a person who's been married for a long time, right? Those are conversations that I've had, right? But like if a guy, like my husband was to say like, hey, I'm curious about what it will be like with another person in the bedroom, right? I'm not opposed to it, right? Like it's not something I'm opposed to, but I feel like there would have to be really strict terms that we abide by, right? Like, are we going to see this person again? Like, is this person going to be just coming up? Is there a possibility you're going to be with that person and exclude me now, right? I feel like there's lots of things because I do feel like with years of marriage and being in the same relationship, like there is sometimes talks or conversations of like potential, threesomes or bringing in another person or bringing another like this and the other. I am not going to say I'm not for it, but I think that it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. And I think both of us have to be mature enough to actually do it or not do it, right? Because once I feel like you open the doors or you open those can of worms, like you're not going to be able to shut that door.
But you wouldn't object to it out of the gate.
I wouldn't object to it as long as we are having a conversation.
Tanikia, do I even need to ask where you fall on this? This is just a formality, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you anyway. Where do you fall on that? If everything else is in place like that and they say, hey, this is what I want, what's your response?
For threesome specifically, absolutely not. It's not my thing, and I'm not going to budge for anybody. I don't really care how much money you're putting into anything. I think for me, it's a little bit different to look at it that way because I'm never going to be a stay-at-home person that ain't got no money. That's just not my forte. That's not how my mother raised me, and I would never have to be solely dependent on any person, man, woman, outside of Jesus. That's just not my style. So I'm never going to.
Let me make sure I get this. Let me make sure I have this straight now.
Mm-hmm.
But you're telling me, if I can go ahead and say this here, this point here, you've been with men and women. And Correct. You're saying that a threesome, though, is crossing the line.
Yes, because I don't share my partners. That's not my thing. I'm not against like other people doing that. That's fine. Like, that's okay. Like, to get even more nuance, my marriage is open. That does not mean that me and my wife share partners. Me and my wife are allowed to have our own partners. However, even though that is a rule we put in place, neither one of us have taken the opportunity to do it. But we are mature enough. I don't know what everybody's ages are, but me and my wife are both 27. So, well, I'll be 27 next week. So we have these mature conversations because that's what's expected of you in a marriage, is to be able to communicate with one another. And these are conversations we have before we even got married. Like, is this something that you're interested in? We both made a decision at that point to say, no, we don't like threesomes. That's just not our thing.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you sleeping with a man one-on-one is within bounds. Her sleeping with a man or a woman one-on-one is in bounds.
For both of us, yes.
But if you wanted her to be with you while y'all knock down another chick, that would be out of bounds.
We don't share. It's just not our thing.
Let me find out here. What exactly are you, just for my edification, what exactly are you sharing in that situation?
People being in the same midst as another person. I'm trying not to turn on my face because I have a very expressive face. It's okay if you do that. That's perfectly fine. I don't have anything against that. For me and my household, that is not something that we are willing to do because we like to share our moments together, right? That's not sharing a moment together.
So you don't have a problem sleeping with another person by yourselves, just not with her. So her coming in the room would be the problem.
Because I'm not finna share my wife with anybody. Because at the end of the day, that's the person that we come home to one another.
But
Like,
are you saying though right now
time.
But right now though, your wife has permission to sleep with another man right now, correct?
Man or woman?
So your wife can sleep with another man right now as long as you're not in the room.
Yes. There are also other rules that go with it. It's not that simple.
So it's only sharing if you're both in the room at the same time.
Yes, threesomes is sharing. Can you curse on here?
Yes, knock yourself out.
Sharing dick is nasty. Sorry, it's not nasty. It's not for me. That's none of my business. What you choose to do with your genitalia is on you. But as for me and my household, we is not finna be doing that. Not at the same time. Also, I'm insanely jealous. So like I just don't, it's something that we agreed upon, right? What works for us may not work for you. Right?
So you're insanely jealous, except if she's alone with another man. You're not jealous of that.
I ain't gotta see that, do I? Unless I have a cuck kind of a fantasy, and I ain't got that. Do you have that? No.
Yeah, my thing is,
got that.
You're being okay. This sounds very familiar with what Bethany said. So you're being aware of the situation. Is what would bother you is your awareness.
No, it's not awareness either, because we have to communicate other partners. I have to know everything about that person. I have to approve that person, just like she has to approve mine. It's way more nuanced than you think it is. It's not very easy.
Once you've approved them, it's still a problem though. I've approved them, but I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to see it. So you're saying you're giving the permission slip.
Basically, it's like so okay. You
like
go on
background check.
You go literally. Because neither one of us is bringing anything home to the other person, correct? So yeah, you got an application. Like I was interested in somebody, right? It didn't end up working out, but me and this person, we went on like a little date. We went out to eat, blah blah. I was like, okay, I think this person's a good candidate for like a boyfriend or whatever. So she was like, all right, cool. And I talked to him. I was like, hey, are you comfortable meeting my wife? And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it. We went and we all hung out. We went to mini golf. We went and got hookah together, whatever. It was a nice little vibe. But I had to see, because you and your partner, you and your husband, you and your wife, whatever, they're gonna see stuff that you can't see, right? I knocked my damn light down. They're gonna see stuff that you can't see.
Where were you when you did that? Were you in the States or were you
I'm in Germany. I've been in Germany for almost a year now. But
okay, so this is in Germany.
Oh, you're in Germany. Impressive.
Yeah, I'm prior service. I just medically retired from the military. My wife is still in service, so that's why we live over here. But yeah, so these are not German people. These are military service members. These are Black people.
What's wrong with German people?
Oh no, that's not my style.
I'm mixed. My mom is Russian.
I am also biracial, but it's just not my thing. So
not to say we got
some sexy German women there.
We have a trifecta here tonight. All the mixed chicks, y'all, they are wide open. So I'm very glad y'all have that. Hey, look, if you're enjoying the program here tonight, I need y'all to hit the likes for me. If you don't, I figure you don't like it. I'll just go ahead and shut this down in a couple of minutes. So if you like tonight's program, hit my likes for me here and let me know what's going on there. So ladies, this is very interesting to hear that. So what you all are trying to say is that a man's financial status doesn't affect your sexual behavior.
Negative. It's gonna be a negative for me.
Even though one of the ladies here gets paid for it, but it would affect it in her personal life.
Hey, business is business. That's just period.
I mean, I don't do anything on camera I won't do in personal life. So people ask me like, I'll give you $1 million to sleep with my horse. It's a true story. And I said, go fuck yourself and your horse. You go fuck that motherfucker yourself.
Well, I mean, certainly.
But guess what? Somebody did it. I'm not going to disclose the company. So that was a sick motherfucker.
Yeah.
Had a horse and said, oh, I want to film this for my personal horse fucking collection. And the bid went up to $1 million. And I
Okay.
was like, you gotta be fucking out of your mind. Like that. It's
Well,
like, I don't care.
certainly-
I don't care. I will go to a homeless shelter before I'm
No, if
fucking an animal.
if Jeffrey Dahmer shows up, then absolutely, I don't care what he's asking for. Certainly, you don't accommodate Jeff Epstein or Jeffrey Dahmer.
I don't
Certainly
care.
you
Like,
don't
you
do
know,
that.
I didn't come to America to be like, you know, I've been in I'm around a lot of celebrities. I don't, you know, be all of the same people. So I don't get starstruck. I don't really care because I'm supposed to be, you know, I was a model before anything else. And I'm always supposed to be professional and not make them feel like I'm a groupie or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you have to be in the room, like, just be cool. Because to me, it's like, I don't really know who this person is, to be honest. I just know it's important. So just, you know, it's just another man to me. So it's like, for you to tell me, like, you know, like I've been on R. Kelly, that's what I wrote a book about. And, you know, he was intimidating. His aura was very, very thick, I will say. So I will say sexually, we probably would never be compatible. Let's just
It's
put it
gonna be a no, a solid no.
But when I said men with powers that will try to do stuff like that, and you have to be weak-minded female, young female, like a young woman, to even, because if he was like, the only reason he doesn't like older women is not because he's not attracted to them, because he cannot give them the bullshit that you can give a 17-year-old. Because when I was 17, I was like, yeah, everything is great. It's rainbow outside. Fuck it.
Okay, but here's the issue with that, Bethany. You're not as valuable at 30 as you were at 18. Your value has depreciated.
What?
No, ma'am. I hope this isn't a newsflash. You already know this. Even in the porn business that you're in, you know that the 18-year-olds get paid are much more valued. They may not get paid. They're much more value. They have
that's
much more value.
It's the teen porn, because it's a lot of pedophiles sells more, but you don't get paid. They don't get paid more.
Okay, if you are 20,
so you try to tell me you're gonna give the money to the pedophiles because
no, ma'am. I'm saying if you're 20 or 21, you're obviously more in demand than when you're 31 or 40.
Because you look like a little kid. That's
okay, but if you're not marketed as that, you can look any way you want to. If that's not what you are, that's a different matter.
Yeah, I mean, you market as a grown woman, and I guess they can see that anywhere. So I guess in porno, you got the pedophiles that's paying for porn. So
right,
yeah,
but
you're not as on demand for that reason.
A 21-year-old who is marketed as a 21-year-old is still going to be more valuable than a 31-year-old.
Like a grown-ass woman, and I was marketed as 18. So like, because I
okay,
like,
you know
whatever.
what? I can't speak on that because I can't prove it. Well, a 21-year-old who is marketed as a 21-year-old is still going to be much more in demand than a 31-year-old or a 41-year-old. Do you deny that?
Not in my case. I became a star in porn business pretty much older than 18. And
how much older than 18?
A few years.
Okay, ma'am, I was saying a 21-year-old, a 21-year-old.
What about a 21-year-old? Like, I mean,
Bethany,
you do porn?
okay, Bethany, she's lit. Stop for a moment. A 21-year-old who is marketed to the public as a 21-year-old is still going to be more valuable than a 31-year-old or a 41-year-old. That's a truism of the adult business. Are you going to say that's not true?
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like, you know.
Well, let me find out.
Are you
going to say that's not true? Are you going to say that's not true? Okay, Bethany.
It's just
Bethany, slow down. I'm not that lit. Are you going to say that that's not true? Can you just answer that?
No, it's not true necessarily, no.
You're saying that a 21-year-old is not more valuable than a 31-year-old in the porn business?
No, depending on who it is, no.
You're saying that 21-year-olds don't routinely outsell their 31-year-old and 41-year-old.
No, I've seen the total opposite depending on who it is. I've seen a 21-year-old that like basically said this bitch will never shoot again. Okay, but a generic 21-year-old versus a generic 31-year-old. It depends on who it is. Now you put in numbers. I don't like that. I don't like people putting in the boxes. It's about the person. It's about what they bring into the table, what that is, the age, fuck all of that. Fuck, you know, the general idea. You can suck at 21 and you can suck at 31. All the same thing. It depends on what we doing, what we shooting, and that's that. There is no numbers. It's like a casino. You just roll the dice. There is no.
Okay, but you know that men pay more. The younger you are, the more fans you have, and the more men want it.
Not in porn.
Are you serious?
I'm not serious. No. And I know what you're saying. Not in porn, though.
They literally have categories for older females. There's a reason why the biggest category is the younger it is, the bigger the category in the audience is.
Well, I'm not really interested in the pedophiles and the younger cat.
Right.
But why
Nobody's
were you
interested
talking
in
about
them.
this?
Nobody's interested in them. So you keep bringing up that word. Nobody's interested in that. We're
No,
talking
I'm
about
not saying
legal
I'm
age.
not interested in it.
Right. But for men of females of
Men
legal
interested
age.
in the freaking pies as they can stick their dick into. So I really don't care.
The men care. That's what they're spending for.
Okay, so what? I mean, what is the question?
How youth matters.
I mean, youth, of course, matters. Like, you don't want to,
Yeah.
like, it's okay. Let's do athletes. You, as a 31 athlete, you don't want to go unless you're in a good shape, I guess, 21-year-old athlete, but you can still do it, you know?
Yeah,
So,
but
you know,
your value as a woman depreciates.
I'm not talking about women. It's the same thing. It's still sport. You still got to perform physically. So it's the same thing with athletes. Athletes' value goes down as they age, correct? Right?
Athletes' value goes down as they lose the ability to perform.
Most of them
it's the
are
same thing.
Tom Brady is in his 40s right now, and his value.
Well, he's doing fine.
So he's an exception. He's an exception to the rule typically. But as long as an athlete can perform, they'll be okay. As far as your business, it doesn't matter.
No, I agree with that.
It doesn't matter how well you can still perform.
As far as my business, I know people that will do it forever, and I know some people like, okay, I can only do it so far. So it's a preference. It's a personal preference.
Right, but on the whole, the older you get, the less in demand you are. With only
I've seen total opposite. I've seen the MILFs that do more than the young girls do. So and they get paid more. So yeah, you're wrong. You can do a survey on that.
I got you here. Why don't you name them?
I don't watch porn like that. Then I'm not going to put anybody on the spot either. So
okay, well.
But no, I work with a couple of people, and they're older than me, and they do pretty damn weird shit. So yeah, and they're very much in demand because when you're 18, they're just breaking you in. You know, like I was breaked in. You don't know what you're doing. When you like, you know, you got an audience. You already know you're doing wild shit. Yeah. So I like as long as you look good, that's all that matters. Actually.
Correct. So for a woman, as long as you retain your youthful appearance, then you can retain your value. Problem once you get past the age
because
of 25,
I've seen some young women.
Once you get past the age of 25, it starts dropping off. So it doesn't matter how well you can still, quote, perform in the bed. If you don't look a certain way, your value starts to drop. No matter how well you can, quote, physically perform. That's the difference between that and an athlete. As long as he physically performs, it doesn't matter whether he looks like he's 60 years old. If he can play like he's 20, that's great. As a female, I guess the inverse possibly could be true. Maybe you could be 40 and look like you're 20. Problem. As soon as you tell the men that you're 40, it doesn't matter what you look like. That number psychologically is a turnoff. So
that sounds like a personal problem to me. So
it also sounds like a personal problem to me. Sounds like
it's called biology. Men on the whole,
it sounds like a personal problem to me.
It
you have some mental issues. And you can get a 15-year-old to get your dick hard and you're a pedophile. Sorry.
Okay, well, you keep bringing that up. So obviously that's something is there some unresolved trauma going on there or something? But,
no, I've never been touched.
Like, if you're looking for that type of porn, you're
probably bringing that up.
I mean, because you keep bringing up age and you keep looking at me like I'm the oldest person here or something. Like, why?
No, what I'm saying is that when a female starts arguing against what they know to be, you work in a business where contracts are based on
but I'm telling you that's not the case. That's what I'm telling you, and that's
you're telling me all these other people.
I will not argue if that was the case. I don't give a shit. But it's not the case.
Your business survives on youth.
Yeah, young people, but who stays in the game is the people that are older.
Yeah, those are the ones who stay in it, but they're not the ones who are in demand. That's why they keep coming for younger people to bring in.
That's fine. I don't care. I don't run a freaking porn company, so why are you like I just worked in it? So there you go.
Right, but what you were saying before, though, that dovetails off what I was saying before, that as a woman gets older, no matter what business she's in, if you want to partner with a man, as men, we value youth. And as you get older, your value depreciates as a consequence.
Is that personal opinion? Is that a
no, ma'am? No, ma'am. All you have to do go to any club, bar, or beach in the world, and you can see that's proof there.
Well, I don't have problems getting in the club or whatever.
Well, if you were just I'm not sure. I want to disclose the lady's age. If you'd like to, you can do that. If age doesn't matter.
I mean, obviously that matters to you, so definitely that's a no.
How old are you?
None of your business.
Okay, then the fact that you don't want to say that means that you understand
Because you're
age matters.
attacking me. Like, why me? Like, because I'm in a business. Okay, fuck it. Yes, the fucking young 18-year-olds in a band. That's what you want to hear. Fine.
Age matters everywhere where women are concerned. And if you want men are going to pay for what they value, and that's something that they value. That's something that we value. Age appreciation. Go ahead and say that again. Say it again, Tanika. I didn't hear you.
Men's focus on youth is why they end up with the women that they end up with and be unhappy and trying to mess with other women, because you're looking at youth, not realizing that typically youth equates immaturity.
Yeah, okay. I would never want to be young again. Like young, like 18. I was stupid, suicidal. I would never want to reverse time ever in my life.
Okay. Do you think that the women today are happier as they've gotten older? And have you all actually analyzed that about what happens?
Yeah, I think so, because medication is getting better.
Medication is getting better.
People are staying older, like the older people.
No. I'm talking about mental health, emotional happiness. Do you think that women today are happier as they get older?
No,
I think we are.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that we are, at least for I don't know how old everybody is, right? So I'm a baby millennial. I'm still in that range. I'm 27, so I'm turning 27, so I was born in 95, right? So we are the generation that started really taking mental health seriously. Gen Z is right under it, and they are on it, right? They care about mental health. They care about fair work. They care about fair price. They care about all that, right? But millennials started the fucking work. So for me personally, I think, at least watching my mom, there's a specific difference from my grandmother when she was in her late 40s, because my mom was in her mid to late 40s, to my mom who is she's 45. What is this?
Okay, well, in case you all are not aware, the statistics are very, very clear on this. Google will show it to you in half a second if you want to look it up. Women occupy as women get older today, especially once we hit past the age of 55, they take up the majority. Their happiness quotient drops off of a cliff. There's more antidepressant use. There's more pharmaceutical use. There's more therapy. Folks are in therapy, but it's not making them happier women. I have yet to meet a single woman who went to therapy and said, yes, I'm a much better person. I'm much happier now. They just say, I'm in therapy, and they just stay there.
Oh, so, no, I'm in therapy, and I'm much happier.
Are you still in therapy?
Yes. You need to continue therapy because you're never done. The work is never done. The journey is never done. And more men need to take it seriously.
Are you telling me that your therapist told you that therapy work is never done?
Yes.
That is like church. It's like church. You just go for the rest of your life. You can never be fixed. You can never be okay. You need to be in therapy the rest of your life.
Yes, you can go to that's what people go to couples therapy after they start having problems. That's the wrong answer. You go to couples therapy before the problems start. You get the tools.
Yeah, but at what point are you okay? At what point are you okay and no longer need therapy?
It's not about needing therapy. It's about wanting it.
Okay. At what point are you a person who can function without an overseer of what's going on with you?
That's not what therapy is, and you might want to look up what therapy is.
Yes, ma'am. I'm very well aware. I'm very well aware of what it is. I got psychologists in my family. I've read the DSM when I was 13. It was crazy. But ma'am, you're not supposed to go to therapy forever. That's absolutely the opposite of what the American Psychological Association would tell you. You're not intended to go to therapy for the rest of your life.
I mean,
it's not supposed to be a vacation or a resort. It's supposed to be something you use and then you leave. It's not supposed to be a way of life.
It's a tool. It's not about it being a way of life. You can use tools. You got a hammer. You don't always use that hammer, right? But when it's time to use that hammer, you go back to the hammer, right? You're not going to use a fucking wrench when you need to use a hammer. So you go back to the therapist if you need to go back to the damn therapist. It's okay to use a therapist. It's okay to consistently go to therapy. You don't have to have a problem to go to therapy. And also, you don't even know the problems that you have until you go to therapy. It's people walking around with baggage, blaming it on other people because they ain't went to therapy and addressed that issue about the little girl who didn't like them or called them an African booty scratcher in the 6th grade. No,
Right, but once they've identified their problems,
it's not about identification. Identification is not enough. That's only the beginning.
okay, but once if identification is one factor of it, that's great. But there's literally no other area of medicine, academia, or anything else where somebody would say you go for the rest of your life.
I mean, yeah, medicine, there are medicines that you take for the rest of your life. If you have a chronic illness, which you can have chronic mental illness,
Right.
you would go for the rest of your life, because that would be
that's proving my point. If you have a medication that you have to take for the rest of your life, that means you never got fixed. But there are medications that will fix issues. Antibiotics, for example, neurological medications, for example, cancer drugs. There are things that will actually fix problems, so you don't have to keep. Imagine a person who had to go on chemotherapy for the rest of their life. You tell me that's crazy. You just use chemotherapy, get rid of the cancer, and then I'm supposed to go back to my non-cancerous state, because healthy means a lack of disorder, not a presence of disorder.
But they still receive care, even though they're not doing chemotherapy specifically. They're still receiving care, usually consistently, because I need to monitor them constantly to make sure it's not going to come back.
Yeah, medication is getting much better these days. Like, I'm very proud of our medical. Everything is like, used to need surgery. You don't need surgery a lot. So now it's like, little cot for kids, especially if they don't need surgery anymore. You can do it without surgery. So I'm very proud of our medical stuff. Like, so that's why people live longer. As far as mental health, it's just like, at the end of the day, you was born by yourself with nothing. You're gonna fucking die by yourself with nothing. Let's just keep that fucking in mind.
Yeah, but if you the nothing that you shouldn't die with is a lack of balance. You shouldn't die.
I'm dead. Like, what the fuck do I care? I just want to go to the other side. Fuck it.
Well, that's a rather
this guy here. Like, I'm like, what type of degrees do you have?
That's a rather defeatist attitude, isn't it? Do you think that men would be okay with? I mean, let me ask you something, Bethany.
I'm married.
I'm very glad to hear that. Do you think?
Okay, so I mean, I don't. It's not about. I have an attitude. I don't like people attacking me. That's number one. Second of all, I don't like
nobody has attacked you, but that's okay. If you feel like that, then I understand. But nobody's attacked you. I simply ask questions. You can give the answer that you want to.
That's fine, but it's just the questions.
It just seems like you're triggered by sexual habits and lack of youth. And that's okay. We can go ahead and discuss
lack of youth.
Yes, getting older seems to have triggered you and bothered you. So
I'm fine. There's nothing I like.
Ma'am, your face literally just turned to a bulldog right here in front of me. As soon as
I mean, like, English is still my second language, so I'm trying to process it through my Russian, just like what you're saying to me.
Okay, well then.
So and it's like, it sounded very like.
Take it slowly. Nice. Take it slowly.
But you didn't say it to me slowly. So when somebody's telling me,
but you've also been been drinking, so that makes it difficult for me to get this deciphered. So if maybe we're having a disconnect here,
I'm not drinking. Like, it's like I'm in my own space. Okay. I'm not driving. Like, what? Like,
I'm glad to hear that. But if you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, and if English is not your primary language, becoming inebriated might interfere with your ability to understand them. Just saying. Pro tip, you might not want to be inebriated when you talk to somebody if English is not your first language. Pro tip, your English is much better than my Russian. I will say that. Your English is
how much Russian do you know?
I know enough to say, get me the hell out of here. I'm sorry. Which way to the airport? I'm not sure how you say that in Russian exactly, but I can say that part. My point is, you got very triggered when we talk about that. But
because I just feel like you have no, like, like, everybody has an opinion, which is fine, they're entitled to it, but you're attacking me. I mean, just putting those, not necessarily attacking me, but just putting that on me. And I have to defend people, like, you know what I mean? Not necessarily me. I really don't give a damn. Like I told you, I don't care. I don't give a shit. So, if that's your opinion, your personal opinion, because that's not facts. And I know that because that's my job to.
So you think that if you keep saying that age doesn't matter to men, that'll be true?
I never said that. You never asked me that.
Age
doesn't matter to everybody.
You're arguing that men don't value youth like that. Yes, we do. We value it across the board. We value it for everyone.
Man, obviously you value that. That's fine. Maybe you studied something before you came on the show. I'm not sure. You didn't tell me those statistics. I'm just saying, of course, youth is good because when you're a child, you can learn so much more. You can learn different languages. It's easier for you. Me right now, learning Chinese or something is going to, be way more difficult because my brain is not as fresh as it was at 7 or 8, So it's the same thing. Some things that, came way easier for me 10 years ago, probably not going to be as easy right now. But that doesn't mean like, oh, shit, I should shoot myself because I'm now fucking 21.
Well, no, certainly not that. However, you got very triggered when I made the statement that a woman's value
Because it's
diminishes over time. A woman's value diminishes with her age. That's just
what happens to men?
that anybody's value diminishes with the age. That's
no,
just,
ma'am, not true. Not true, because
Does
money
value go up with age?
Okay,
your
slow
dick
down.
don't get hard when you get over 60.
Slow down. First of all, does that really matter to you now?
Excuse me?
Does that matter to you now?
Not at the moment, doesn't matter.
Thank you very much.
I mind my business. I don't mind other people's business.
Right. So there's my point. So you just made a criticism that even now you admit doesn't even matter. It wouldn't matter
because you're talking about things that don't matter, but obviously matters to you.
No, ma'am. A women's youth matters to us as men. Yes, we put value on that. A man's ability to have sex doesn't really matter.
Women's youth honestly does matter to me because there's a cutoff age of kids and things of that nature. So yes, it is crucial because then it's like, damn, if you don't have kids by a certain age and this and that, yes, and it's the same thing comes with you on that matter. Like you can adopt kids, but it's not the same thing. So of course,
but the amount of benefits that a woman receives from men, the amount of unearned benefits you receive from men, the amount of attention that you receive, you're always going to be offered sex at any age. Is when you can get sex coupled with benefits, with resources, with commitment, with investment, that drops off precipitously as you get older. The younger you are, the more benefits you receive for it. The older you get, the fewer benefits that men will start distributing.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't have this problem. I'm off the market. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear that too. The only thing is, though, when they get triggered by that, you can't negotiate what men want. What men want is what we want.
I didn't know that's a negotiation with a bunch of men right now.
No, you can't argue with men that they should value something that they don't.
Well, I'm arguing only with one man I can't even see. So.
Well, ma'am, I've argued with a chick and we've seen a lot of you. So, by the way.
Well, there you go. I hope you liked what you saw.
Well, there's certain parts of it, I suppose, that might be a little bit different.
It doesn't matter. At least I'm not, hiding behind the shadows.
At least you're not what?
I'm not hiding.
Ma'am, you would have had a better life if you did hide. Because the whole world is seeing you in a situation like that. I wouldn't be so braggadocious.
I mean, I'm still living, I'm breathing, I'm put that behind me. So what's the problem?
With your alcohol in one hand and mental instability in the other, I'm not so certain that this is a life I would want to live. I'm not certain that it is.
What life is that?
The one you have. Not so certain I would want to do that.
Do you know the life that I have?
Ma'am, you have been sounding high and intoxicated since you got on the phone with me, before you got on the phone with me. Clearly, you're not happy with your life now. You're not happy with your life as it is. Well, the great Bethany Benz will no longer be joining us. In any case, she only sounded slightly triggered, which is fine by me. It's just me and Amber at this point right here. In any case, obviously was not looking for fireworks in that regard, but Miss Benz had a lot to offer there. For everyone who doesn't understand, by the way, yes, she was already lit before we got on the air. She was late as hell before we started. She was inebriated as she could be. Very clearly, like, if you want to know how it is she still works in the porn business, you just saw what it was. A woman who literally has sex for money and is telling you that money doesn't matter, even though she has sex for money. So that was fun. In any case, I think she's like, 35 years old now? I think she's 35 years old. I think it is here. So obviously in the business that she frequents in, you're not going to be very, very valuable at that point. So if you want to know why she was very, very triggered by that, is because as a woman gets older, you can't really leverage your sexuality like that anymore. You can't really do that. So I can understand why she would be triggered by that, although it probably would have helped if she hadn't been drinking or doing whatever she was doing besides drinking before she got on. So tonight I was talking here about what it means for men to be in control. That is what I was talking about here tonight. And I can understand why Miss Benz would be very, 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 very irritated about that, because she doesn't have a lot of control. She doesn't have a lot of control, and that's going to mess with you there. Or maybe it's the fact you're talking about men being in control. She got very, if you all noticed here, and by the way, I'm going to open up Zoom here in just a moment. She got very triggered when I talked about men being in control with their money. This is a woman who has done whatever sex acts men want her to do for money since she was 18. We're not going to get anything younger than that because she says she's from Russia. So what happens in Moscow stays in Moscow. But until the feds show up, apparently. However, she's made a life doing that. Now, ladies, what's the first rule that you have to learn here? Don't be mad at the men. Don't be mad at us for acknowledging reality. The reality of the fact is, if her sexual behavior wasn't something she could live with, if men having the bag and she went for it, if you can't live with the consequences of that, well, don't get mad if we discuss it here later. And by the way, I didn't even bring up that aspect of it. I never said, hey, you have sex on film for money. I didn't bring it up. I just talked about your regular life. That's okay. But obviously, she's still very triggered by that. Why? We all know why that is. And the reason why is because, yeah, when men exercise that type of power and influence, that sticks with you. So rather than her saying, okay, I played the game wrong, she's instead very upset about that. She's instead very upset about it. That doesn't help. It doesn't help. However, you know what? I could be wrong. Maybe she's a very happy person. I'm sure you all saw she struck you all as being just as happy and fulfilled. I wonder if you all felt she was as happy and fulfilled as I did. She came in the door very, very happy, very, very fulfilled, very, 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 very pleased with herself. I could tell. I'm being sarcastic as hell. Ambar, however, maybe you disagree. So by all means, if you'd like to correct me, you can.
I don't really know what happened. I feel like it was, I don't know. It was
15 years of having promiscuous sex on film, possible substance, definitely apparently confirmed substance abuse, if you ask me, certainly suspected. That's what happened.
I think we were talking about therapy. Like, I don't even know how we got on the next subject. We're talking about therapy and what we need. And if women over 50, like what women need, or how women that are older, like, are they happy? Are they more fulfilled? That's where we last left the conversation. That's what I remember. And then it just went, I don't know where. I don't know where the conversation went after that.
Well, she has a problem about age. So she's very, very sensitive and insecure about her age. She's insecure and sensitive about her history. And she is very insecure about therapy being a tool being used. Although I don't think there's any proof that she's actually using it, although she could probably use it tremendously, to be very, very honest. What it hasn't done, though, is certainly hasn't helped her disposition. It certainly hasn't done that. So if you're literally on an internationally broadcast YouTube program with your wine in your hands, that's pretty much proof right there that you're not really in control of yourself. That's really proof right there that you're not really in control of yourself, and that maybe that's something that you need to address. I don't know. Actually, I do know. I'm not talking about I don't know. Absolutely, I do know. So, kids, this is your life on drugs. Look, the bottom line here is I started tonight's program because I was talking about why men need to be in control. And you know why men need to be in control? You need to be in control so that when you meet a chick like Bethany Benz, if she wants to sit up here and lie her ass off about how much money influences her, that schizophrenic answer she gave about, I'll have a threesome on video, I just won't have it with the man who pays my bills. Are you kidding me? Do you think a fella is going to let her disrespect him like that? That's insane. That's insane. There's no way why in the world would somebody do something so crazy? So a producer who isn't even related to you, he can get you to do whatever you want, whatever he wants. But the man who's paying your way, you're going to tell him what he can and can't have? How, Sway? How? How does that occur? I don't believe you. I don't believe it at all. So no, I don't go for that at all. But as she's gotten older, I was going to discuss it. I was going to get to this in just a few moments. I didn't get a chance to get to it though. But as she's gotten older, she's had to accept the reality that, you know, options ain't like they were. Time has been squandered and you can't go back again. The fellas are in control. What she doesn't have a retirement plan. I wasn't going to sit up here. I'm not sitting up here. I'm not sitting up here shaming anybody about that. I'm just telling the truth about it. If she was in her feelings, that's perfectly fine. She can be in her feelings. Okay, great. But don't get triggered because I say the truth that men across the board value youth, and you don't have it anymore. She doesn't have it anymore. Now, I'm not downing her about that, but don't sit up here and lie and say that, oh, men take a look at a 41-year-old the same way they do a 21-year-old. There's plenty of men, they would love to have a 41-year-old. Get the hell out of here. She works in a business where you can't make money that way. And yet you want to sit up here and insult our intelligence by saying the opposite of it. That's a problem. That's a problem. And I submit to you that the fact that she's sitting here with the drink in one hand and delusion in the other and is standing by it is the evidence that the game plan didn't work out so well. Being in denial of reality in math and biology hadn't worked out so well. That's the problem. That's the issue. You can say it all you want to, but you can't deny the results of what you can't deny. She doesn't have any fellas sitting up here doing that like that. Oh, a fella making $50 million a year. Okay, I'm not trying to go in on her. What I am going to say here is I know for a fact that that's not true. All I'm going to say is I know for a fact that is not true. I know it is not. I think it isn't. I know it isn't. I know it's not. I know it isn't. So with that being the case, we live in a day and an era where folks sit up here and just say that kind of stuff, and we're not allowed to have honest discussions about what you can expect. She would have been a hell of a whole lot better off if she had just said, you know what? I wish I could get me a sponsor who messes with me for real. She would have been a whole lot better off if she had said that. If she had just said that. I'm not here to sit up here and coddle people about that, but she'd be a whole lot better off if that's what she has said. It can be tough to face that. But at this point in her life right here, hell, what the hell you have to lose? What the hell do you have to lose? However, Ambar, we're going to come back to her in just a moment. I've let Tanikia has to go and change the spark plugs on her car, apparently. So I'm going to let her go here. But Ambar, certainly I was looking for things to be a little less lively tonight, but that's perfectly fine for me here as well. We were talking about men having the need to control and why that is important. And my suggestion is it's important for situations like this. It is important so that you don't have to tolerate things that are outlandish. It's important so you can set the tone. If nothing else, Miss Benz or anybody else who didn't like it, they're going to respect it. Because I didn't sit up here and get starstruck. First of all, there's not much to be starstruck about. But second of all, I didn't respond like that. I think that the reason why men need to be in control is because that's the only way you get respected, even in situations like this. Women don't respect a man who caters to them, who kowtows to them. They respect a man far more who says things they don't like, even if they weren't expecting it, than a fellow who sits up and says what they know the woman wants to hear. Because if I had sat up here and said, well, men, a 21-year-old, yeah, we look at them the same as a 31-year-old. Get the hell out of here. Go to any club in any city. The 18 and 21-year-old chicks run the yard. The bouncers at the door, if you're not a celebrity, if you even look over the age of 28, if there's a 22-year-old they can let in, that's what they're doing. Amber, am I making this up?
No, I agree. I mean, I think even when we think about clubs, when we think about the industry, all of that, like it is like what men want to see, and they want to see young girls. They want to see the 18, 20, 21-year-olds, right? Like they don't want to see 40, 50-year-old women, upper 30s. So I do think like in reality, that is something that men want to see. Is that who they're going to want a wife and have kids with and like all of that? Probably not. but what they want to see on a day-to-day basis, of course, the younger the better, right, for them.
She was very triggered about that. Why do you think that is?
I'm going to be honest. I'm not really sure why it triggered her. To be honest, I think she's a beautiful woman. I don't think, even if you were to tell me, she does look like 30, like in her 30s, right? Like 35. And I think like, I'm not really sure why the age triggered her so much, because I even know that the older I'm getting, it's not the same, right? Like it's not the same audience that's adhering. It's not the same people that I'm going to be bringing are going to be coming to my attention, right? So like, I think the reality is like, as we're aging, it's not the same. We are going through different things. And I think that's the reason why it is like the evolution is the way it is. And I do believe that like, as women get older, there is more of a sense of depression, because it's like, we've give our all, like all through our 30s, all through our 40s, all through our 20s, raising children and doing all these things. Then we get to the ages where like, we are looking back at our lives, and maybe we weren't necessarily happy with how things were, or maybe we regret things, or maybe we wish we would have done things differently. So I do sense, and I do believe that there's a reason why women older can be depressed, and can look back on their life and not be happy. But as in for her, I wasn't necessarily sure why her being 35, or like what that had to do with the conversation, and more so with what we were trying to get out of the conversation.
Well, I mean, I think it's very obvious what it is. She doesn't get the same level of benefits as she got when she was younger. She doesn't get the same level of deference she got when she was younger. The men are not showing the same level of respect or pandering as when she was younger. And having a conversation, all I said was a woman's value diminishes as she gets older. Now, that's not news. That's not breaking news. It isn't. It's not breaking news. It's not. To sit up here and argue against that in front of an internet audience, that's an insult to people's intelligence. To sit up here and argue that. It doesn't make any sense unless you are living under that issue. Now, if you're living under it and it's like, oh, hell, I don't like it. That's the real problem, is we have these dishonest conversations. I also made the point to her when I said that when a man pays money, he expects something for it. Well, yeah, I'll be damned. That's the way that works. If a man pays for your life, if a man spent money, yeah, he expects something for it. He certainly does. That's insanity to act like a man doesn't. That's just common sense. Well, guess what? By the same token, if a woman, that includes Bethany Benz, opens her legs, she expects something. She expects something in return. She's not going to do it for just nothing. She's looking to get something. If she's been laying up with you long enough, she expects something simply on the basis of how long she's been doing it. That's the way that goes. Now, an honest conversation is when you can talk about that, when you can speak about that. But the other thing is, okay, what a woman expects is not what a woman wants is of much more value than what a man wants. Because there's nothing he's going to get from you that's worth $250,000, $300,000, $400,000. There's no contribution you're going to make that's going to give him that type of return on investment. What he's going to give out is going to be worth a lot more. So you're damn right. If he spends money, he wants something. He certainly expects to get something. And this idea to say that, oh, men do this, and when she's talking about men do that, no, there's fellows who don't. It's like, okay, I don't know what's in that glass, but whatever it is hard hitting. Whatever it is hard hitting. Yeah, men need to be in control. You're absolutely right. We sure as hell do. We absolutely do. Because you're not going to get men to perform at a high level. Hell, you're not going to get us to perform at any level if we're not in control of it. What the hell are we doing it for? What's motivating us? If we're not in charge, if we're not in control, if we're taking on all the liability, you know what? Damn all of it, or even most of it. That's a problem. That's a problem. And this idea, like I say, her life is a testament to that. You can sit up here and fantasize that men are just going to trick off on you forever. Now the phone stops ringing and the well runs dry after them out. So if me bringing up age triggered you, Bethany, then it's probably because you kind of mishandled the first 15 years of your agency. It's probably because you mismanaged that. I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not dissing anything. It's probably because you mismanaged the first 15 years. It's probably because it went like that. She's literally obviously got manic issues here. She's emotionally imbalanced. Okay, not dissing anything. But if you can't even control it in a public setting, now you got a problem. I'm going to open up the phone lines here in just a moment here, Amber. But if you want to critique or criticize anything I've said, this is your moment to play Liz.
So I just think I really just don't understand where the disconnect was. I think the conversation was going a different way, and I think she did take it personal, and I think this is like, it's okay, like, right, that's her feelings, is how she feels. And I think but I think also I just don't think she was ready to be asked, like, to be put on the spotlight and be like, okay, so tell me more, like, give me more, give me reasons more. I think it was more, she felt more attacked than giving her opinion or giving her thought about what you were asking. And so I think in general, she just really closed the door to be able to explain herself in a better way, or to expose herself to what she express what she wanted to say and have other people understand her. I think she just, as soon as the age in the porn industry, or the age that men are looking for or are, want to see, that's what closed. And I mean, I get it, but it isn't that deep. So I get it, but I don't.
No, apparently it is that deep. Apparently it is. So make of that what you will. In any case here, I'm going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines, and Zoom is now open here. So you all are welcome to go ahead and get to that here. The phone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the business. By the way, I did something I want to do from time to time here. I bring you all new faces. I bring you new people in that regard. So you can go ahead and meet them and hear them. You all can weigh in on everything you heard here tonight. You can weigh in on some of folks' proclivities here. I'm not dissing anything about that. You can go ahead and make of that what you will. If I could have said something a little bit more direct, I probably would have said that. I don't know. When I see nose rings and multicolored hair, that doesn't scream mental health to me, or it does, it screams mental health like Quiet Riot, but it doesn't scream to me balance in that regard. So I kind of can understand why she probably feels like she needs to go to therapy for the next, 20 years, whatever the case may be there. So, but no, you're not supposed to be going to therapy for the rest of your life. That's not what's supposed to be happening. Therapy is supposed to be a limited thing, and then you're supposed to leave. If you're finding yourself in therapy for a large chunk of your life, something's gone horribly wrong. I don't know what version of the DSM you thought you read. I'm telling you, as a guy who comes from a family of psychologists, if you're still going to therapy after your third or fourth year, something's gone horribly wrong. And if you're there 5 or 10 years later, you just getting pimped is what's going on there. Well, then again, she said you should go to therapy if nothing's wrong. Really? That's like going to the mechanic right after you've had a tune-up. Well, there's nothing wrong with the car, but I'm back so you can look at it anyway. Really? If the car is in good shape, you don't take your car to the mechanic every week. You take your car to the mechanic when there's something wrong. You don't take your car to the mechanic because it's Thursday and you're bored. That's my view of it there. But then again, maybe I'm wrong about that. So I'm going to bring you all on the line here so you all can weigh in on this. I know I have royally ticked off some of the ladies out there, but hey, it is what it is. You came to the right place for that. You knew what you were getting into when you rolled up, so it is what it is. Everybody is free and open to give their thoughts and their ideas about things. That's fine. However, don't be surprised if you get triggered or feel some kind of way about it. So, hey, you've had your opportunity to do that as well. Let me go ahead and get a couple of phone calls here. Let me get caller from area code 561. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Jason, Black, and everybody listening. This is Chance, the Nathan Shriner. I I am from Loxahatchee, Florida, and I'm calling by way of Chesapeake, Virginia. I have two questions. First question is, oh, okay, I forgot it. All right. My second question is, I have already been driving for this company called Warner for 16 months now. I think this is my 18th month driving for them, and I would like for you to give your advice of which the best company would be to drive for next to start earning six
my
figures.
advice is to call back tomorrow on Patreon. That's my advice. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 301. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Legal Eagle from DC.
Legal Eagle from DC. What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, I was calling in because I found it hilarious that Bethany, when you said that, age is what is priority, obviously, in her industry and even outside of the industry, right? Just in the dating market and everything. And as soon as you said that, she was triggered, she goes to, oh, well, that's pedophiles. And that's a common type of way that women try to shame men for our preferences of young women, obviously, because we can potentially have children who are healthier. It's not going to be a dangerous pregnancy like at 35, so on and so forth. But as soon as you said that, she said, oh yeah, those men are pedophiles at 21, not 18, where okay, you can consider it barely legal. But even at 21.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that was an absolutely shameless attempt at trying to bully people about that. She heard what was said, and that 21 years old is pedophilia. No, it's not. What she's saying, she's having a violent reaction to hearing a truth she doesn't like. She knows full damn well what type of traction she had 15 years ago, and she liked it. You know why she liked it? Because she kept in the business with people laying on top of her for another decade and a half. To the point that she's telling you that she can compartmentalize what she does, quote, at work. Let me tell you something, folks. At work is sitting behind a desk at a computer. At work is a construction site or driving an 18-wheeler. When you're getting bent over and doing sex acts, that's not work, okay? That's not labor. That's something else. Certainly if it's being documented on film, that's something else, okay? So let me get that out of the way real quick. But the next thing here is that if you're triggered by that, it's because, yeah, after 15 years, you realize, damn, it was a sweet ride when I started. That was a sweet little ride when I began. Not so great after a while. It's not so great after a while. So when you have to sit up here and try to tell men that they're wrong for that, what you're saying is, I don't qualify for what you all prefer. And I'm trying to make you feel bad about no longer qualifying for what's preferred. Let's be very, very clear. Them white men in California that she does all this stuff for, they didn't say it nearly as nicely as I did. They don't say it nearly as nicely as I did or as nicely as you have. They just say, hey, you're old. And that stings because let's be very, very clear. Once you have willingly gone out and done this stuff on video, you sold your life to the game. You sold your life to the game. So for them to turn around later and tell you that you're just old after you did that, and well, when am I old? You're 24. You're old. Well, hell, she feels majorly betrayed. So yeah, she's angry with all men now.
And she's just going to shame men. And for her to say that, oh, she's married, she was definitely capping on that, Jason. She's not married because what she said about the fact, and I'm glad that you got it, that you can perform these sexual acts on camera, but you won't do that in your own bedroom. No man of any type of value is going to accept that proposition, not at all. So for her to say that, if she is with some man, I can guarantee you she's making more than that man. That's why she's so combative. She's so triggered. And she's coming across that abusive because she's not happy where she is in life. That's why she's trying to shame men, because if you have options, you can dictate the terms as in, I want somebody younger. I don't want somebody who was in that industry. I want somebody who's more feminine like and less combative, but she'll shame men for preferences.
Well, I mean, how many options do you have if you're 35 years old and we can literally count your body count in the hundreds on video? How much leverage do you have? How many options do you have at that point?
That's 100.
I think
That's
she
true.
was upset about that because, you know, she reacted worse than everybody. I didn't think she was going to be the worst of all. I thought somebody else was going to be the worst one of all about that. Talking about men being in control. So talking about how men control their money and whatnot. Yeah. And it does influence. She literally said up here and said that a man's money doesn't influence her behavior. And her profession is to have sex on video for money. A man's money does not affect my sexual behavior. Miss Benz, they need you on studio set number 5 so you can do this scene with the 3 men and the 2 chicks. Okay, be right down.
Correct. Yeah. If she was married to a guy who has $50 million, $100 million, most guys in that type of caliber and that type of bracket, number one, they wouldn't want her to continue doing that work. So can they control her behavior? Of course. So if she's saying that she's married and, you know, she's with an affluent guy, that's totally false. Because if you just look at like Lana Rhoades or you look at Mia Khalifa, these women who were in porn, they're trying to scrub the history on the internet because they've had so much troubles in their marriages because guys don't want that. You've even talked about it with Kanye. Kanye always had in the back of his mind that his wife is internationally known for having sex with Ray J, and that will never leave you.
Yeah, I mean, how can she be your queen when you know this? You can't unknow that. You can't unsee that. You can't. There's no way to do that. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 804. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Cassie Roan in Virginia.
Okay, we got Grandma Green on the line. Let me try that name again. What's your name? Where you calling from?
I said Cassie from Virginia.
All right, Cassie from Virginia. She's making the coney bread. What's on your mind?
You gotta stop. Anyway, I'm just gonna tell you the story of I'm agreeing with you because it was a friend of my mother's and she was gorgeous. I remember her as a kid and she was gorgeous and she would use her looks for, you know, just to trick men out of their money or, you know, she just used them. She just used them constantly. And her and my mother grew up together. My mother got married, had kids and everything. And my mother wasn't a bad looking woman, but this woman was gorgeous. And as time went on, she, you know, got less and less and less. And she was back in the day when light skin was the thing. And as she got older, she realized that her looks are fading and she had to do something more.
Right, because here's the problem. The problem is you said something there, which is a big misnomer. You said that she was gorgeous. Well, yeah, that might be true. Here's the problem. Gorgeous is worthless if there's no one to pay for it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is as she got older, she never worked. Okay, she came from family with a little money, and she never worked. And of course, the money dried up, and the old people died out. And as she got older, she couldn't. I don't know the word to say. She couldn't manipulate like that, like she used to. So she had to get a job.
Well, that
and
had
she
to
got
be
a job.
soul crushing.
What now?
That had to be soul crushing.
Yeah, it had to be, you know. And she got a job as a waitress because she never put any stock into anything else but using her beauty towards men, manipulating this, that, and the other. And when she get tired of one, she go to another. Then men with money. And then she got older, the same men didn't want her anymore. So she had to work and stuff. So I'm agreeing with what you're saying. As you get older, that stuff is, usable when you're young, pretty, but you're not going to stay that way forever. And you got to put some stock in something more so you can have a cushion to fall back on. Right now, she's like, I guess she's like in her 80s or 90s, and the family had to take her in because she didn't get enough money on anything. And this is how some of them end up. Because they don't put stock into what's going to happen to me tomorrow.
Well, I mean, they don't. There's no foresight because when you're young and everything's going your way as a woman, the world's handed to you on a platter. Everybody gives you exactly what you want. You don't have to struggle. If you're a woman who's pretty, you don't have to struggle. And Cassie, she's having to struggle breathing. So let me go ahead and let her get back to the oxygen tank here. But Ambar, can we be honest about that? Being gorgeous, and like I say, people have complimented me to say the ladies I bring on are all for the most part attractive, except for a couple of exceptions. But the ladies I bring on are attractive. Okay, that's great. But Amber, can we be honest here? Beauty has no value if there's no man to pay for it. And I say a man because a woman is never going to pay for it. A woman is never going to compensate you for how you look. Just on that alone. You don't have any woman out there who's like, damn, Amber, you're cute. Let me pay your rent.
No, I agree. I definitely think that beauty and youthfulness, all of that does contribute to a man being able to give or contribute in a way. And I think, honestly, when I think into times and I think about how a lot of people, back in the day got married at a younger age, right? Like that's when it was youthful. You're youthful and you're pretty and you have it going on. So you get married younger, And so I think that it is true. Like, I don't think a woman's going to say, oh, Amber, you look good. I'm going to pay for you. I'm going to pay for all your needs, all your necessities, right? But a man will definitely pay for me and my necessities, right? So those are some things I do agree with.
Let me go ahead and get caller from area code 469. You're on live with the business. What's your name? Where you call from? Okay, caller from area code 469 has been abducted. Caller from area code 708. You're on live with the business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Sandra. I'm from Chicago. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Sandra from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So you said that when women get older, like I'm 43, I've been driving a truck since I was 22. You said they lose value as they get older?
Yes, ma'am. A woman's value depreciates as she a woman's value to men depreciates as she gets older. Yes, that is true.
Well, I'm thinking for me, as far as the word value, I think I'm more valuable because I have more experience in life.
Okay, who are the men who have paid to confirm what you're saying?
Well, I have a good father, my dad.
Your father pays. Your father pays for you, ma'am.
Oh, as I said, paved the way for me being valuable.
Okay, but ma'am, what I'm saying is that once you got over the age of, how old are you now?
I'm 43 now.
Okay, once you got over the age of 30, what men were saying that you were more who are paying you were saying that you were more valuable at 30 than you were at 20? Your intrinsic value.
I didn't need any kind of validation to be valuable by a man at 30 and 40.
Okay, so what you're telling me, have you ever been married?
I've never been married. I don't have any children.
Well, do you think there's a reason for that?
A reason why I'm not married, I put my profession forefront so I can make sure I can take care of myself.
Right.
So I don't have to be flooded
A
out.
woman does that.
Flooded out
Let's be very clear though. A woman does that when she knows
Yes.
she's a disciplinary problem.
Well, I don't want to listen to. I don't want to have to be submissive to somebody.
There you go.
To pay my way.
There you go.
But okay.
So
look,
in other words, you
no.
ma'am, slow down. You fell for the trap.
Yes.
You went for the bait that, well, if I pay my own bills, then I don't have to get a man's approval. I can behave however I wish to. And I got veto power by paying my own bills. Now, here's where things get rough for you. You have no husband.
Yes.
You have no children.
No.
If you have a serious medical situation in 10 years, who's going to take care of you? Who is going to see to your personal affairs?
They have hospitals.
Ma'am, the
Even
hospital
people
is
with
not going to see,
children now.
ma'am, the hospital
Okay.
is not going to see your personal affairs. So let me ask this again, since you went for an irrelevant response, because you already know the answer. You have wasted the last 23 years. You have no husband. You have no children. If you have a serious medical situation happen in the next 10 years, who is going to handle your personal affairs?
My family members, my friends.
Okay, your family members. Which family members are you referring to?
I have a sister.
How old is your sister?
She's a year older than me.
So your sister is even older than you. So in 10 years, she'd be 55 or 56. And you think she's going to be able to take care of your personal affairs in addition to her own? Is she married?
She's married.
Does she have children?
No.
So your sister has a husband. Does she live in the same state with you?
Yes. She currently moved to Texas.
Okay, so she doesn't live anywhere. She doesn't live anywhere near you, and you sitting up here telling everybody this falsehood that she's gonna come take care of your expenses or take care of your priorities. She's gonna be able to take care of your obligations. Do you even hear yourself when you say that?
I do.
What you're saying is absolute fantasy.
Okay.
That's fantasy. Your sister is not going to come out here and take care of your responsibilities. She is not going to come see to your personal affairs. She can't.
What responsibility?
That's
selling something else. They have services for that.
Ma'am, do you have a house? Ma'am, do you have a house? Do you have a car? Do you have a retirement pension?
I have things that are paid off. I don't have a pension no, I don't have a pension. No.
That's not a great sign. So for basically what you were a young woman who sat up here and went into the delusion that you can work. That's great when you're young, but you're not able to retire. You do realize what Black women's health expectations are as they get older, right?
I listen to you all the time. You say the life expectancy for women is around 76 or something like that.
And you're past half that, and you don't have any type of retirement.
But you don't know how much money you have saved up.
Okay, great. How much money do you have in your 401k currently?
I don't have a 401k, but I have some savings. But we're not doing a financial thing. I want to talk about.
Oh no! We gonna do that. How much do you have in your savings?
A few sums of nothing, not enough to live off of.
Okay. Thank you very much. This right here really just proves itself, ma'am. You need $2 million to be able to retire, and you're nowhere. You don't even have a 401k or a retirement vehicle to do it with. In other words, you're just working until you die. And the reason that you're working until you die is because you were a young woman who was too difficult to deal with a man and too stubborn to admit you needed one. And now you're in the latter years of your life and you don't have the option of getting a partner who will help to alleviate this burden. You are one health complication away from your life crashing down around your ears.
So how much you can ask how much I make a year?
It doesn't matter how much you make a year. It doesn't matter how much you make a year, ma'am. You don't have anybody to help you.
Well, I feel like I'm competent enough, a go-getter, to afford what I need, which I have done that. The problem I'm having now is when I do meet somebody, they're incompetent, and why should I have to listen to bad information?
But ma'am,
or
why
bad
is it
advice
that
from a man? It's bad advice.
why is it that the competent men are avoiding you?
Because I'm not going to be splattered out for no amount of money. You said that the man makes $250,000, would I have a threesome if he wanted? I shouldn't have to negotiate my morals for no $250. You know what I'm saying?
You negotiate, man. You've negotiated your
Okay.
principles already. You've already negotiated the most important thing of all, your time. Now,
yeah, I'm taking care of myself.
Okay,
I'm happy with myself.
Ma'am, let me ask you a couple of questions here. Have you ever been pregnant?
Yes.
Have you ever been pregnant?
No, I don't have any children. No.
Okay. Have you ever been seriously involved with a man?
I have not been seriously involved with a man that was one-on-one. Maybe like 4 years I was driving local and spent time with him, but never living together.
What you're telling the world is that you have been married to your job.
Yes.
And how many females do you think are kicking in any doors to trade places with your life?
I'm happy with my life.
Ma'am, how many females, how many young women who are 21 years old, if I told them you'll be 43 years old with no husband, no kids, driving a truck through Ohio, how many females with no retirement, no savings, no benefits, and no options, how many 21-year-old females do you think would take that life and say, yeah, that's where I want to be?
People that love themselves and want to be self-sufficient and take care of themselves without any kind of stigmas of what you got to do to please somebody else.
But ma'am,
I'm happy with myself.
Okay, but you have to be happy with yourself because there isn't a man competing for your company. Not one who's worth anything.
But he's not gonna make me happy,
ma'am. You're acting as if you're acting like that was a choice. You already screwed off your options. There's no man who will make you happy who's competing to come do it. That's why you're saying I don't need a man to make me happy. Yeah, nobody's opting to try to do it.
What do I need him to do that I can't do myself?
Let me say, ma'am. Let me ask you a question. How tall are you?
Yes. 5'5.5".
How much do you weigh?
Maybe about 198.
So you're 5'5" and you weigh 200 pounds.
Basically, yes, sir.
Do you see a problem?
I have had no problem with meeting males at all.
No, I didn't. First of all, the males you meet are not anything that a woman would brag about. Second of all, here is not about that. Do you have any men out there who are looking to take care of you? No, you don't. You're 5'5". Do
I need them? Okay.
Ma'am, you're 5'5". Ma'am, you're 5'5" and built like a sack of flour at the age of 43. You don't have any competent male options. That's the issue.
Well,
you don't have any.
I'm sorry you feel that way, sir.
No, man, you just told me. You just told me you don't. You just told me you don't. Who is the competent man who has resources? Who is the competent man who has resources who is trying to be a part of your life right now? Tell me who he is.
What resources am I?
Ma'am, I asked you a question. I asked you a question, ma'am. Okay. Who is the competent man with resources who is competing to be a part of your life now?
I have nobody competing to be a part of my life.
Thank you. This conversation has just become redundant and circular. There isn't any man who's worth a dime who's looking to be with you. I'm not saying that to be insulting. I am simply reporting the news. There isn't a competent man of resources looking to be with you because nobody wants to take care of a chick whose attitude is messed off, who comes in the room saying she doesn't need a man. If you had a quality man, you just screw it off because you don't appreciate it. So there's no reason for a competent man to waste, ma'am, be quiet. There is no reason for a competent man to waste his time calling you up or trying to be with you because you don't appreciate a competent man. So there's no reason for him to waste his time to even begin. So all you get are the incompetent men who you were complaining about before. So yeah, you do want male company, so you're lying. You do want male company, but the only thing you qualify for now is the aged out grandpa Pookie and Ray Ray, because the competent men have no use for a woman who doesn't appreciate and is not grateful for what he provides and sacrifices for. It would be wasted on you.
What am I sacrificing when I bring something to the table?
What do you bring to the table at 40, ma'am? What do you bring to the table at 40 plus years old, 5'5" and 200 pounds?
Okay. I'm the same workhorse you be talking about. The workhorse that's going to die alone, I'm that same workhorse.
Okay,
So
men don't want to work.
table.
Men are not looking for a woman who's a workhorse. We're looking for a woman who's a show horse. You've totally lost the plot.
After 45, okay.
You have lost the plot. Men are not looking for a female workhorse. We're looking for a show horse, not a workhorse.
Well, okay, the value thing, I believe I am more valuable. I haven't lost any valuable since I've aged.
You've got value to your employer, and that's marginal. You haven't increased in value to anybody outside of your employer. Tell me who you have increased in value to outside of your employer. And I'm talking about tangible value that we can measure. Tell me who's your value is increased in.
Okay. My family, my friends, somebody needs something, I'm able to help them out. When
You're telling me your family,
family
sees you as more valuable now than they did 20 years ago?
Yeah, if you need help, I got it. Like, I'm out here.
So in other words,
able to provide.
Do you realize what you really just said? You have really just told everybody that you are the female man in your family, is what you've told everybody. You're the female man.
I feel like I'm telling men that I have something to bring to the table. Why work twice as hard when I can help and we can retire early and live a good life?
Ma'am, how is he going to live? What kind of life, man? What kind of life does an overachieving man have to look forward to with a 40-plus-year-old, 5'5", 200-pound woman? Where's the payoff? How happy can a 40-plus-year-old? How happy can a 40-plus-year-old, 200-pound, 5'5" woman make a man?
I've made them very happy. I'm very attentive.
Okay, ma'am. You said you've made them very happy. Where are they now?
Very happy.
Where are they now?
They've been let go.
Okay, then in other words, you made them so happy that they're not there anymore.
I let them go.
Ma'am, if you let them go, then they were not. If you let them go, then clearly they were not interested in doing anything for you. Or either that, or you're just a very bad, you just fumbled the ball and you ran them off and you made them unmotivated to do anything for you. But either way, it comes back to you because you're the only common denominator.
I need you keep saying I need you to do something for me. I need companionship. I need you to listen, not be combative with me.
Ma'am, why does a man need to listen to you? No offense. Because
I have something to say.
Ma'am, there are people
God has put us.
There are people at insane asylums who have something to say, ma'am. Why would a man want to give up his other options to listen to you? I'm just asking, why would he do that? Why?
Why not?
Because you're 40 plus years old, 5'5" and 200 pounds of surly masculine energy. That's why.
But they do tell me I am masculine. I act like a man.
Thank you.
But they still like me. They still like me though. You act like
the they who like you. How much money a year does one of they make?
The same amount. They truck drivers, they could be falling under me a little bit.
Yeah, in other words, these are dudes who run the roads. They got children, they got side chicks, they got lot lizards. Yeah, that's what you qualify for. This is a very damning commentary. I'm not making it look bad, y'all. I'm just reporting the news. Okay, don't get mad at me. I'm just reporting the news, ma'am.
You saying what application have I felt out for you to provide. What happens when a man 42 and 43 and he ain't got no wife? What does that make him? Not valuable anymore?
Ma'am,
what does that make the man when it happened to him?
Ma'am, y'all keep going to these same old deflections. Be quiet and just learn. Women are not looking for the same thing from a man that a man is looking for from a woman. So for that reason, you can't ask silly questions like when we get older. Our earning ability increases as we get older. That's the difference. What you want from us is our ability to produce. We're not the show horses, we're the work horses. So as long as a man can provide at a high level, he is going to have a numerous amount of female options. It doesn't work in reverse for you. Your ability to produce does not attract quality men to you. The men who it does attract, you don't want. So no, ma'am, as we get older, our ability to produce doesn't fall off. We get more valuable as producers as we get older.
Financially, but women
financially, financially, socially, emotionally, intellectually, financially, financially, emotionally, intellectually, socially, we improve as we get older. As a quality man, our shelf life of being able to do that is a very long runway. It basically extends almost to the point of death. A woman's does not do that. Women's value starts to depreciate at roughly after the age of 25. It'll either be a slow decline or a steep drop off. But the bottom line is you can't negotiate with men for what you could at 35, what you were able to at 25. It doesn't work that way. A man is only hitting his stride when he gets in his mid-30s. For you, the game is pretty much over by the time you get to your mid-30s. If you haven't already picked a producer and a horse to ride, you're done. And you'll be 40. You'll be 40 plus years. You'll be 40 plus years old or 50 plus years old, having to get out here in the brutal summer heats or the frigid cold in the winter, changing tires on the trucks and the tow balls and the third wheels in the middle of the elements when it's raining. And when it's raining, getting pulled over by the state police in South Carolina, having motor issues. You're 50-something years old having to deal with that. When if you had just minded your damn manners when you were 22, you'd have a man out here doing that for you, and you would be sitting at home comfortable, not aggravating your arthritis and your gout.
Y'all be cheating. Yeah, y'all run off at the mouth all the time.
We pay the cost to be the damn boss. You damn right we get to do that. We pay the cost to be the boss. We're the ones who let you sit up. It's not the other way around, ma'am. You damn right. We earn the right to do that. And you don't appreciate a man who's done that, including your father.
My father has did his job and sent me out on my way at 18, so his job has been done.
Your father fumbled the ball. Okay. He did not raise a feminine daughter who could attract a quality male. That's a problem, because now you're paying for this for the rest of your life.
Okay.
You've been paying for this with the rest of your life. His inadequacy to develop you into a woman who could attract a quality male, you're paying the bill on that now.
I beg to differ, sir.
Ma'am, you're on the phone with me right now talking about your 18-wheeler while you're on the road going somewhere. What you talking about? You beg to differ. You're living what I'm talking about. What the hell are you talking about? You're living it.
I ain't got to suck no dick to get my rent paid.
Ma'am.
I ain't got to put up with no mouth. I ain't got to do that. I'm happy with that.
Ma'am, let me ask you a question.
Y'all learn how to talk.
Ma'am, let me ask you a question.
Are you to get your rent paid?
Ma'am, are you a ma'am?
No, I'm not doing none of that.
Ma'am, guess what? Your lips are kissing white folks' asses to get your rent paid. You feel better?
No, I feel pretty good about myself that I'm working a 9 to 5 and
okay. Sure your lips are wrapped around them white men's asses to pay your rent. You call that an improvement? You call that an improvement.
So what the man
Don't
What's
answer
the
a question
man
with a
gonna do?
question, ma'am. No, while you worry about what your
Okay.
lips are doing, your lips are wrapped around them white folks' asses to pay your rent. You could have a husband instead. You're talking about working for them white folk is better than having a husband? Are you mental?
And let him suck the white man's dick. Let him keep sucking the dick by himself. Like, what you talking about, sir? He
Ma'am,
gonna suck the dick to be the workhorse? How long he finna be sucking dick for then?
that's
He
none,
the workhorse,
ma'am.
ain't he? How
If
long
he's
he finna
if he's
suck
the
dick?
workhorse, you supposed to sit back and let him do what he do. You ain't gonna be able to stare down no white man the way that a black man is. Stop with the cat.
Well, that mean I don't love him. If I'm letting him carry the whole load, I don't love him. He just the workhorse.
No, man.
He not
Man, a quality
He's
man is
sucking
not
dick by
looking for
himself.
you to quote unquote help him carry no load as your expression of affection. A woman doesn't
The
express her
quality-
affection by quote carrying
Okay.
the load. A woman expresses her affection by deferring to the man, which is a concept you are
Or
completely
deferring the
foreign
load.
to.
I'm trying to defer the load off of him so we can both relax when
A
it's
man, a
time.
quality man don't need
I
your
thought
damn
you
help to
did.
carry the load. Them bum niggas you've been dealing with need your help. A quality man doesn't need your damn help.
So you want me to stroke his ego and just let him be a workhorse his whole life?
Yeah, that's what you're
Just
supposed
stroke
to
his
do.
ego.
That's what you're supposed
Okay.
to do. The problem you have with it is that you're inadequate and inept at it.
I think I love my man enough not to just put the burden on him.
When's
But
the last time you had a
They
man?
don't want me, then fine.
When's the last time you had a man?
I'm dealing with somebody right now, but
I
wouldn't
don't
necessarily
believe
call
you.
him my man.
I don't believe you.
I mean, I'm laying up.
I want to talk.
I've been laying up for a minute.
I want to talk to him. I don't believe you. I want to talk to him.
He put me on you. He on here. He on.
Put him on the phone.
He put me on you.
Put him on the phone.
Oh wow. I gotta call him on 3 and see if he gonna answer the phone. That's
I don't believe you. Put him on the
Let me see
phone.
if he answer the phone. Okay, hold on.
Amber, you see what I got to deal with here?
Oh, this
And
is
the
too
life
funny.
lessons to the young ladies. Do you see what I have to deal with here? This is a public service that I'm offering everybody here. I've got a bunch of delusional chicks on the line talking crazy and every damn thing else. She was 40-something years old.
Hello.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
ahead. Talk to him.
Go ahead,
What's
brother.
going on, Jason?
Brother, what happened? What happened? Just between you and me. Come on now, lay it on the line for me. What happened? What went wrong?
I'm a driver too, man.
And then about me, but that I'm controlling.
Okay, ma'am, hold on a second. Let this man speak. Don't overtalk him like that. Let this man speak.
Okay,
brother, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the problem right here. Do you see what just happened? How did you end up? How did you end up here? I'm trying to help you. How did you end up here?
I had met her. I was dropping off a load, and
Clearly,
I was dropping off a load. We met at a DC somewhere, and
just say a truck stop. Just say a truck stop.
Gave me her phone number.
Just say a truck stop. Just say I met her at the truck stop.
No, it ain't a truck stop, bro. It was at I think it was at a Costco DC.
All right.
And we just started talking because she's a driver. She's been driving longer than I have, and we was talking, but what happened was you pretty much right with that. Like she's not that feminine. She does have a attitude problem, and to the point where it'll make a docile man call her a bitch and shit. And
the masculine energy is off the charts, dude.
I've told her about the and I've told her about the masculine energy thing too. Like you could even ask her. I told her about that. I told her about how she doesn't have much to bargain with as far as her age. Like even me, I make the same amount, if not more, than she does. So I don't need her to take care of me. My credit is good.
Am I good to you though? You acting like I ain't treating you good though.
Good, but the attitude thing, you do treat me good.
Brother.
But when I do get out of pocket, you start calling me bitches and shit. Like, who does that?
Because
when
you
I
coming
sound like
when
it.
you coming like a dude, what do you think gonna happen?
Why I can't have my own personality? This is my personality.
Yes, and
but I treat him
men,
good.
ma'am,
But-
men
check
use
this out.
the tool.
And how she
Ma'am,
call her own self?
okay,
a bitch.
slow
She
down.
Like, I'm a
Slow
bad
down,
bitch
both
and
of you.
all that.
I don't do
Men
that.
use the
Don't.
tools that work, Cassie. If feminine tools worked with you, men would use that. Feminine tools don't work with you. We got to bring out the heavy machinery. And that's because you don't respond to feminine tools. Feminine tools are light and subtle. You don't respond to those. Maybe if you responded to them, then men wouldn't have to drag out the big hardware. How
I'm
about
not
that?
struggling.
Okay, ma'am, you are
Okay.
struggling.
Am I?
We already covered that. You are socially struggling, physically struggling, financially struggling. You are struggling. You're over the age of 40. You're overweight, over the line, over the limit. You don't have any retirement savings whatsoever. None.
He said I'm overweight. I guess he generalizing how women built. I'm just overweight.
Ma'am, stop
He said
it.
I'm overweight.
Ma'am,
I'm
stop
not
it.
built.
Just stop it.
Okay.
Ma'am,
sir.
the bottom line is you are right now. You've just been working for 20 years. You are no closer to being ready to stop working today than you were 20 years ago. You might as well have just started working 3 years ago for the amount of results you have to show for it.
I got some results. It ain't no man, but I got some results.
Ma'am, you don't have any results. If you needed to retire in 10 years, you couldn't do it.
I have assets that I could sell out to do that. But
wow,
you've
worked your whole life, and the only way that you could sustain yourself is if you used your life as a pawn shop and started selling things.
Yeah, for 10 to 20 years from now, to live just for 10 to 20 years, I can live without working.
How well are you going to live for 10 or 20 years with the assets that you currently have if you sold them?
Probably apartment living.
And is that where you thought is that where you hoped your life would be at the age of 60?
That's why I'm still going, sir.
Okay, second time.
I still have life in
Second time. Is that where you hoped your life would be at the age of 60?
At 60, I do not plan on apartment living and selling off assets to get to apartment living.
Okay, well, right now, baby, your 18-wheeler is in the express lane to go straight to work until you 80.
How much can you possibly provide? You only human. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to live this reality that, you a man.
You are a woman. You ain't going to.
Too.
Ma'am, how many 70-year-old female truck drivers have you met?
I'm not looking to meet them.
Okay,
I'm
second time, ma'am. How many 70-year-old female truck drivers have you met?
I see them driving, but I ain't never talk to them. I see them older out here, but I ain't never like, hey,
70-year-old, does DOT even allow that?
Actually, they do. I've known older male drivers that's driving. I don't know about the women, but I see them.
Thank you. I wasn't using subterfuge, everybody. I need to get her to go ahead and tell the truth about that. Yes, it's allowable, but you're only going to see men doing it. There are no 70-year-old female truck drivers. Ma'am,
this is a
how many
60
year-old female truck drivers have you met?
I know one right now. She's 56.
I said 60.
You want me to
60.
Oh no, she's like 56.
Thank you very much.
Three more years ago.
Okay, she got
kicking though. She in it to win it. Nothing wrong with
She's already lost. What you talking about?
How
How are you going to talk about she's in it to win it? She's already lost it. What the hell are you talking about? She's already lost. What the hell is this science fiction you doing? She's already lost.
If you lost, that means you depend on somebody else.
No, ma'am. Losing is working with no damn end in sight. That's losing.
It seems like we all on that path.
We all ain't. Joe Biden asked, he's been on vacation now for 20 years. You are working. Joe Biden doesn't go anywhere he doesn't want to go. You get white folk who give you a dispatch notice and tell you where you going every day. Don't even try to compare your life.
And I love what I do. I love what I do.
Where's your man at? Put your man back on the phone. Put your man back on the phone.
What's good?
Brother, how did you end up here? How did you end up here with her? How did this happen? I heard about the Costco thing, but that's not what I mean. I'm saying, brother, which way did your life go that this was where you ended up at? That's what I'm trying to ask you.
Okay. I listen to you. I've been listening to you for about 10 years. And yeah, I came from a bastard baby maker. I was born in '84, so I went through the crack era.
Brother.
I grew up, I didn't have a father, but I had my uncles and I had my grandfather. And I had my grandfather. I didn't do any jail. Yeah,
sir. You're what, 5 or 6? You're 5 or 6 years younger than she is.
Uh-huh.
And you got a CDL.
Yes, sir.
You have a CDL.
Yes.
You have do you have all your endorsements?
I'm on the road right now.
Do you have all your endorsements?
I didn't need all. No, I didn't. No,
and
I don't.
That's the first reason why this is where you at right here.
I have.
Upgrade. Brother, the struggle. How many kids do you have? Be honest. How many kids you got?
I have 2 boys.
There you go. Okay. How much child support you paying?
I don't play much. Me and my baby mama cool. Okay. It's like $400.
Okay.
Brother. I see. I'm a 1099. Oh, I wanted to tell you this. A lot of those dudes, like the guy that was driving for Warner, you want to drive for a 1099 company. Like this company, I work for a 1099. I run my taxes through my LLC. So, and I also through my LLC have a business account.
I hope the new law in California doesn't derail that for you. So we'll have to see how that goes.
I live in Texas. Okay. I live in Texas.
Well, I guess
and my company is from out of Illinois.
I guess his plan is to avoid California. So congratulations if you can do that. Here's the real thing I'm saying. Slow down. Here's the issue, brother. What I'm saying is you doing a whole lot over there for some companionship, ain't you?
I really don't have time, bro. I run cross country.
So what you're telling me is that her attitude issues are minimally impacting you because you ain't really there.
Oh no, I have issues with her attitude all the time. You know what I'm saying? And
okay, that's my point. That's my point, brother. That. So I'm telling you, you doing a hell of a whole lot for some companionship, ain't you?
Yeah.
You doing the most, brother. You doing the most. You ain't just doing a lot. You're doing the most over there. That's the point I'm trying to make to you, bruh. At 43 years old, 5'5" and 200 pounds, this is the best we can do. Don't answer that because you ain't got to lay it with me. You ain't got to lay it with her. You can't lay it with me. You got to lay it with her. So don't answer that directly. But brother, what I'm saying is, are you dealing with all that and a disciplinary problem too? Brother, do you realize you basically reduced it down to, look, she's a warm place to lay up at. Really? This is where we at?
I'm nice.
No.
I don't like a sack of potatoes.
No.
I don't make him do everything when it's time for us to hang out. He ain't got to be putting his priorities to the side.
You do not appreciate, nor are you grateful to have.
Me?
No, you do not appreciate, and you are not grateful.
I am grateful to you. Yeah, I am. I'm grateful to you.
If you're sitting up here, ma'am, is this a hostage situation? It sounds like you've got him around the collar talking about, I'm grateful to you, nigga. I'm grateful to you. That's the problem. This doesn't even sound comforting or loving while you're saying it. It sounds like you have him in a headlock. Talk about, tell him I'm grateful to you, nigga. Tell him I'm grateful.
I don't want to embarrass. She's a real cool person, man. She's really good to talk to. She knows a lot about the industry. She didn't tell you she got her own truck too, brother.
The problem is she got to be. The problem is she's got to be productive because she's got so many attitude problems that will make her too undesirable to a fella of quality who's gonna fool with her for real. She ain't supposed to be pushing her own rig. That's the problem, dude.
I was telling her that same thing. I was telling her I would have did it because that's where I'm at. That's why what I'm doing.
Look,
with my
here's
LLC.
the bottom line. Okay, here's the bottom line. A woman who knows that she doesn't qualify for a quality man, and furthermore, she knows that she's such a hard head and a difficult person to deal with, she's never going to let you have the reins, nor is she ever going to trust you enough to be in charge because she doesn't actually believe that she can keep you because she knows she's not able to. That's the problem.
You are right. You're right. And she could tell you this. I always was on. What did I used to tell? I used to tell her all the time. I'm not looking for a relationship. And I told her it was with the first 2 weeks when we were talking. I was telling her that like I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm focused on building. I already made the mistake of having 2 kids with this chick that I'm not gonna marry. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and now you got this chick that you ain't gonna marry.
And that's cool with me.
It like, better in your case. It better be.
But he's still a man, though. We both pulling the same thing. It's not like, ooh.
Here is what I'm telling. Here's what I'm telling. Like, no, here's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that.
Not something that's important to me, though,
ma'am,
Jason.
I'm telling you
Jason,
this. Okay, slow down. This fella is the last train leaving for you, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, this fella is these two like Tupac and Jim Belushi and gang related. Ma'am, this is the last train leaving for you. This is the last train leaving. I suggest you get a ticket to ride. This is your last train leaving.
What to do now? Just play nice.
Hold on to him.
What do you want me to do?
Hold
play
on.
Nice to the men?
Don't ask no damn questions. Keep a smile on your face to the extent you can, and hold on for dear life.
Okay.
This is the last train leaving.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I suggest you be on it.
Okay.
Thank you for giving us a call. Where did I put it? There it is. Bethany Benz. Tanikia. Damn me, Cassie, the truck driver, and her nigga. Y'all, Pepto ain't gonna hold me tonight. Whatever in the hell Bethany was drinking, whatever that was, wow, are they liquefying it now? I need some liquid cocaine up in here is what I need. Pepto ain't gonna hold me. It's not gonna do anything for me. Not after tonight. Not after tonight. I didn't have an ulcer before. Got one now. Not gonna hold me. I'm too square of a nigga to be doing this. I don't have access to hard enough stuff to be doing this. I don't. I used to wonder why niggas smoke weed when they host these programs. Corey Holcomb and them, they got the drink. Other dudes got the weed. I'm the only nigga out here trying to make it without it. This is why Tariq don't want to talk to people on his program. I'm like, oh, now I see why. Okay. He saves himself that I'm the only dumbass out here doing this with no supplements. Amber.
Oh my gosh, that was interesting. I think for me, him admitting with her on the phone, like I was just like, okay, this is a lie. Like he's legit agreeing with everything you're saying with her on the phone, and she's agreeing with what he's saying back. That was very interesting.
He couldn't do nothing but it. He's trying to navigate a situation that don't need navigation is the problem. Dude, you don't even fool her like that. She doesn't have any options. She gonna take whatever she can get. Just, bro, get out there and do what you do. Just don't get nobody pregnant and don't get no diseases. Do what you do. Where's her veto power?
But also, he only pays $400 for 2 children a month. Oh,
yeah,
I'm cool with my baby mama, so I only pay $400. That's it.
Yeah, he got off easy now, girl. Baby, chicks out here taking twos and fews, so that's it. He probably got a chick just like her, and it's just like, okay, she get it how she live. That's the other reason why dudes like to have vocations like that, because they can make money that not necessarily you can get your hands on all of it. You can't necessarily see all of it. So, like I say, but take a look at what the trade-off is. Okay, he doesn't have the baby mama. Yeah, I'm seeing what you got now. Okay, well, Jason, she cool and treat me nice. I can't tell. Okay. She was literally on the phone with her teeth gritted, talking about, tell him I'm grateful to you. Really? Tell him I'm grateful to you. Wow, okay.
That was a very interesting relationship, to say the least.
Yeah, well, wouldn't you like to trade in them? Get rid of your husband so you can go ahead and have this little dynamic.
Absolutely not. No. I also think they're more of a relationship for on the road. So they're probably just like, taking care of business on the road, meeting up wherever they're at. But I don't necessarily think that's anything more than that. As he stated, right? He was like, her attitude. He also, like, she's like 40-something years old. She's not giving him children. He doesn't want to be married. He doesn't want that. So I just think also when you're in that line of work, like she chose to be on the road. That's what she chose to do. So now, I mean, they're made for each other for right now, just to take care of business for each other on the road.
No. Not right now. Because here's the problem. She doesn't have the ability to get something better. That guy is the best she can do. The worst decision that a female who knows she's screwed off in the head, she's a disciplinary problem, you're messed up. The worst thing she can do is keep running back in the sexual marketplace. All you're doing is racking up bodies, which is tearing your already fragile psyche more asunder. You're becoming a cat lady. You're sitting up here with houseplants, video games, stuffed animals, and every damn thing else. That's what you end up becoming. That's a destroyed psyche. She would be much better off just saying, you know what, let this one just be the last one and make it do what it do. That would take maturity and rationality. If she does go back into the sexual marketplace, what the hell is she gonna get? Denzel Washington, Michael B. Jordan, Bill Gates? She's not eligible for that. The guy that just got off the phone, that is the best she can do. If she does go back into the marketplace, the best she can get is another one of him.
And I mean, I really think that she's in that cycle though, because like you said, and like she stated, she's not interested in. She hasn't been interested in having children. She hasn't been interested in getting married. And I think that truck life also of like always being on the road, being in a different city, being in a different place, her lifestyle wasn't made for her to have children or to settle down. And on top of that, I was just worried about her financials, because at least if you're single and your financial stability, you have your 401k in place, you have your retirement in place, you're saving for retirement, like all of these things, but she doesn't have any of that. So you're in your 40s, soon in a couple years, you should be retiring and you have no money to retire on, because there's no way that by the time she's 65, she's going to accumulate that type of money that she needs to be able to retire. So not only is she going to be alone, because she's not going to have anybody taking care of her, because we can forget family members, we can forget about everybody else, because everybody else is going through their own stuff. So you don't have anybody that has been helping you save for you to be able to get there. So I think that's what worries me too. It's not so much the companionship. She'll be fine. She'll find somebody in each city. But I think for me, it's more so like her life, her financial stability post her job. What if one day she can't pass any of these exams anymore? What's she going to do?
Problem, Amber. Here's the problem. for all this talk of all these females who float online everywhere, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, running around talking about, oh, you need to know your worth and accept your value and, reach emotional health and equilibrium. And they've engaged in lifestyles that so clearly demonstrate there ain't no damn emotional health going on there. No offense, Tanikia, that was not the image of emotional health we saw on the screen here earlier. That was the very definition of schism. Cassie, that wasn't the Candace, whatever her name was. That was not an illustration of emotional health. That was an illustration of schism. And the sickness that we have today is you got chicks out here who like, okay, the federal government and the capitalist system told me if I stay out here on the road, I can go ahead and keep working and keep feeding this dysfunction until you reach a point that all these females talking about they don't want to lose themselves. They don't want to lose themselves. They don't want to lose themselves. She's lost her femininity across the board. You're the only halfway feminine chick I had on here tonight, which is a damn shame because one of them was an internationally known porn chick. I can't even say porn star. One of them was a damn porn chick on here tonight. And her femininity was out the damn window. That's the problem. All this trying to tread water and y'all don't understand. It doesn't turn you into tomboys. It turns you into men. When you are willing to accept becoming a workhorse, don't tell me about you ain't lost yourself. You just lost your femininity. It's gone. That's gone. You're telling me that you can compete with the men physically? Your femininity is, first of all, you can't do it. But second of all, your attempt to try means your femininity is destroyed. It ain't there anymore. When she was on the phone with me, she was perfectly fine being masculine. The man gets next to her and she starts trying to false flag. Well, I can do this. No, you can't. It's not working. And you're going on 45 years old. It's not working. You've lost yourself. And not even a roadmap of seeing iDog and National Geographic can get you back. You've lost yourself with all these people and gurus talking about helping you to you don't want to lose yourself. You don't want to lose yourself. You don't want to need to find yourself. I'll be damned. You have a generation of females who've lost themselves. 2 generations lost themselves completely. That was the definition of lost myself. There isn't even the womanhood still remaining. What is a man working for? To sit next to to lay next to another dude? The whole purpose of having a female is that you all are supposed to accentuate the characteristics that we don't have. That's the point. You're supposed to accentuate all the things that we don't have. You're supposed to specialize in all the things we don't have. Attempting to compete against us, to challenge us, to defy us. That's what a masculine being does. A masculine being defies, contests, competes, conquers. She's trying to convince us that 43 years old, 5'5" and 200 pounds of masculine rough and rumble, that there's some femininity buried in there that's worth competing for. And that's why I said at the beginning, there's no man going to compete for this. A man is competing for you to bring to him what he doesn't have. And hopefully there's $1 million worth of that there. The younger you are, the more valuable it is. The reason why we don't want to deal with older females is because you all have had the femininity beaten out of you. And then they get on the internet with a bunch of other chicks who've been ragged out and run through too, and the femininity has been beaten out of them too. And then they all sit around trying to comfort each other that I'm okay. You okay too, sis? Yeah, I'm okay too. That's what the program started off with. A damn porn chick and another lady over there with two-tone hair telling each other that everything's perfectly fine. Everything's great. Jared Leto wants his hair back, ma'am. That's the damn problem. And it would be funny if these folks weren't actually out here. That's the issue.
But then my thing is too, I have a question. I wonder what we call the men that mess with those women though. So like we're talking about her, right? And we're talking about her lifestyle and what she's doing. But what about him? he's just as like bad.
No, not really, because he's losing less. She didn't ask any questions to that. He's losing less. Amber, listen to me. All the females out there, listen to me. Bethany Benz, damn it, listen to me. There's a reason that we're called workhorses, Amber. It's because we ain't supposed to be show horses. We're not here to get put into the stables and be treated nicely. It's our job to plow the fields. There's a reason that our life expectancy is less than yours. We are the warrior class. We are the Spartans. That's what we do. We are the Zulu. We are the elite. That's what we do. The math doesn't work if we both make it out of here at the same time. The math actually doesn't work out as well. Somebody is going to have to sacrifice themselves. That's the way it has always been. And as men, we welcome that. We accept that. As Sean Bean said in the movie Equilibrium, if that's the price, I pay it gladly. I posted from Carl Jung that if a man can tell, as long as a man knows the why, he can survive anyhow. As long as we know what we're doing it for, we'll pay whatever the price is. As a woman, it doesn't work for you that way. A man can run these roads and beat these streets for 30, 40 years, and it doesn't beat the masculinity out of him. A woman trying to do it, it beats every scintilla of womanhood out of you. That's the problem. He can do this. It's making him more of a man. She can't do this. Why not, Jason? Because it's making her more of a man. And her options in men, she's registering, by the way, I got some dudes. Well, how quality are they? Not really. Well, then, what does that tell you? That tells you that you've lost yourself. So, yeah. The bummiest dude who lays up with her is losing less. That's a gain for him. He's getting sexual access he probably should not be getting at all. Guess what? He got it. He found a way to make it work. That makes his life easier and less stressful. You know what makes a woman's life less stressful? Having this burden of performance lifted off of her. That's what does it. You want to break a woman's psyche and destroy a woman's soul? Send her into the workforce and tell her, work until you die. That's how you destroy a woman's psyche. You all can try to put on a brave face as much as you want to. You know damn well, every morning you think about going out that door, even if you work from home, every morning you think about that routine and being relegated to that. That's chipping away at your psyche. You know it. You know it is. That's the problem. So the fellas up here at the truck stops and whatnot, if they can get in where they fit in, that's a come up for them. Remember, sexual access costs a woman. It doesn't cost a man. Marriage and commitment cost a man. Because you want us to pay your way. Well, I got to be committed to you to do something like that. You're not going to commit to me like that. So sex costs you more than it costs me. Commitment and marriage costs me much more than it costs you. So that's why them dudes you're talking about, yeah, could they be doing better? I don't know. That's a relative term. What I will tell you is that they're making out better in the exchange. You know why? Because when they finish laying up on her, they can go hop back in their truck and leave. And go find the next one in another city and go lay up with her and then leave. And meanwhile, she's watching. His years are building up assets for him. Her years ain't building up none for her. It doesn't work that way. It can't. Lord, take the wheel. Caller from area code 832. You're on live with the business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Jason? This is Reese from Houston.
Take your phone off a speaker. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Sorry, I had my Bluetooth. 1 second. Jason, can you hear me now?
What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Better? This is Reese calling from Houston.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, it was pretty excruciating. I know you probably need to take a few shots of that Pepto because it was pretty hard to listen to the broadcast tonight.
Damn Pepto. I need some Ritalin in this son of a gun, but go ahead.
Some Xanax something, man, because goddamn, like, so I think Ambar, I didn't hear the first like 20 minutes of the show, but I think Ambar pointed something out when you kind of let her give her feedback on the one German woman, basically how she got triggered, and it was like tied to her age. And I think basically she's triggered and emotional because, it goes right up, her situation with her, profession and her age. And that's why she kept saying, you're coming for me, you're attacking me. It's like, no, man, we're just talking like facts, statistics, like we're just talking reality, and you're getting triggered and emotional because I'm speaking on your life, even though I'm not talking directly to you or about you. It directly pertains to what your situation is based on your age and profession. And she's, in denial, trying to say, nah, this ain't it, this ain't it. And it's like, they never put into context what they're saying or what you're saying even. It's like, I think you really got to slow down for them, especially when they're getting emotionally triggered. It's like you're saying stuff and they're just like, just listening to respond. They're not listening to comprehend or get an understanding.
Well, I mean, but understand,
so
it's because they've never actually had a man speak truthfully to them before. Let's be very clear. When these are chicks who are used to having men pander to them. They're used to men who are so desperate to have sexual access that he will say anything she wants to hear. His priority is not pissing her off. So he knows what she's saying is bull jive. He knows what she's saying is crap. And she's so selfish and single-minded and vain that she's like, yeah, go ahead and lie to me because I'm exercising power over you. She met somebody tonight who wasn't gonna lie to her. And when she tried to make me move off of it, I'm like, I'm not moving off of that. You're the one in delusion, not me. I'm not gonna move off of that. So she's accustomed to men who are so desperate to please her that they will sit here and alter their reality and deny reality in order to please and placate her. So it was a shock to her soul to meet somebody who wasn't going to do that. She just knew any moment there, I was going to soften up what I was going to say in order to comfort her. And it didn't happen. Well, don't you know me? I'm the great Bethany Benz, baby. That and $2,000 to get you a plane ticket back to Russia.
And that's the kind of women that's the only kind of women that will, only kind of men that will go after those women, the ones that are willing to put up with that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so when they kept saying, oh no, I get men, like you said it before in many other shows. Oh, I get men. What kind of men, ma'am? What kind of men are you getting? You're not getting, like, you kept repeating that to the other girl. I think it was the one you were just talking to. Whose man got on the phone. You kept repeating that to her, like, what kind of men? They're so great that you didn't want them, and yet you're bragging over here like it's a brag, like you know what I'm saying? You posting up on the fact that you're getting men who are just looking at you as sexual access, and I'm not even gonna embarrass the guy or whatever and go any deeper on that, but when women say they have value still, and that's the other thing the truck driver kept saying, and the Russian chick kept saying that she has value, gets better with age, blah, blah, blah. Women, please stop this insanity. Your value comes from your beauty first and foremost. So as you get older, your value drops because your beauty drops. We don't give a damn about your income. We don't give a damn about your degrees. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of that shit fucking matters to us. And the more masculine you get. Like, like we don't want to put up with that shit. We don't want the woman that says, "Oh, I can't find a man because no man can handle me." We don't want a woman we got to handle. That says you want abusive, one of those hot and cold relationships is abusive on and off again. We don't want that. We want a woman that can get an understanding, that can listen, that can digest and process what we're saying, and have an educated, intelligent response, unlike what we were witnessing tonight on your show. Like I said, man, I don't know how you do it, brother, but thank you for what you do. You validated so much for me and many, this show and many other shows, and really, made a difference for me.
Well, I certainly want folks to take value away from this. And one of the values I want you to take away from this is dispelling myths and rumors, myths and misnomers about life. It's a hell of a thing to wake up in your 40s and realize you got it wrong. That's a hell of a way to do that. You woke up in your 40s and realized you got it wrong because you are out of the most precious commodity of all time. You can't wake up at 40 and talk about, damn, I need a do-over for my 20s. I blew the whole thing. I need a do-over for my 20s. You can't get up in your 40s trying to get a mulligan for your 20s. That's the problem. You're not supposed to be in your damn 30s talking about you can compete with the 20-year-olds. She gave the analogy of sports athletes. There isn't a 40-year-old athlete in the world who's going to tell you that he can compete with the 20-year-olds. Not a single one. Tom Brady. Right. Tom Brady is not going to tell you that he can compete with a 25-year-old. He's not telling you he can compete against Jameis Winston or anybody else like that. Now, is Tom still performing at a good level? He damn sure is, but even he wouldn't tell you that. Brett Favre at the end of the twilight of his career wasn't saying that. Troy Aikman at the twilight of his career wasn't saying that. Mike Tyson at the twilight of his career. We can go down the list. You don't have 38-year-old, 40-year-old men telling you they can compete with the 20-something-year-olds. They, even in the rap game, they hand that off. They wouldn't be triggered. Because we understand, no, I can't compete against them. I can be me. I can do all right, but I can't compete against them. They're going to whoop your ass coming and going.
So I was just going to say the best they can hope for is that they kind of offset. You showed the charts where you offset, with your bullet, your numerical, points or whatever, where you offset, things you're lacking with other things. So yeah, you get older, you get, maybe a little bit more intelligent, a little bit more wise and all that kind of stuff. But that's going to go so far though. It's not going to completely offset your physical beauty, because you said it yourself earlier. I forget exactly how you said it, but I was thinking in my head, you ever heard of Meg the Stallion? Because you were like, we want a show stallion, or however you said it. And I'm like, yes, we want a show stallion, not a workhorse. Like, that's what we're for. That's what we're doing.
We want a show horse, not a workhorse.
The only person.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Certainly that's what we're looking for. We want a workhorse, not a show horse. And you have to be able to appreciate that. Bethany, if you want to know why it is you didn't get a producer, babe, it's because you didn't appreciate one. That's the reason for that. You can't come out with utter contempt for what a man can do and then think it's ever going to work out, because all that lying, you all tell me, did Bethany strike you all as happy with all that damn lying she was doing? Did she strike any of us here as being happy, fulfilled, content with her life, everything, a sunny disposition? You can't even say that about Karen. And, I think the world of Karen, but you can't say that about her. Her disposition never changed much, but it's damn sure didn't go off the rails like this. You can't compare those two. You can't compare those two to each other. Don't tell me that the last 15 years didn't take a toll on you, Miss Benz. I can see from your behavior, from your demeanor, from your inability to even do a internet program without the drink in your hands. It's taken a toll on you. You'd have been better off getting a job at Wendy's when you were 18 years old. And I'm sure they had Wendy's, or at least McDonald's in Russia at the time when you were there. You'd have been better off getting a job at the Russian Mickey D's and marrying somebody with some sense than doing what you did. You'd have been better off giving the reins to some Russian commissar over there who could actually pilot the ship correctly than to try to get out here and make it on your own like you did. It didn't work. Your psyche got torn to ribbons. It didn't work. And I'm not dissing you or going in on you. Let me be very, very clear about that. I am not dissing you nor going in on you. I'm telling the brutal truth about this. You're supposed to be able to look at what you've done and be okay with that. You're not okay with it. You know why? Because the men you're looking to take care of, you judge that. There's not going to be a happily ever after because a man who gets with you can hear the giggling and the snickering from other men. He knows what when she walks somewhere, she knows men are sitting up here looking at her like, yeah, we know what you look like naked. We know what you look like naked with 2 or 3 dudes on you. There's no fella who's sitting there puffing out his chest with pride. How motivated is a man to indulge himself in that environment? There's not enough cooking, cleaning, house washing, carpet scrubbing in the world to balance that out. That's the problem. So she got triggered when I talked about age because she hears it all the time. They keep saying it to her all the time. That's why she's like, oh my God, I came here. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about your porn career. I wanted to talk about value. And when she went off the rails about age, she's letting you know, yeah, I know the time is gone. The time is gone now. What do you do about that? Well, I can go make another movie. Yeah, but you can't make your 20s come back. You need a do-over. You need a do-over. She's not looking at tomorrow saying it's going to get better. Did y'all hear some of the stuff she was saying here tonight? Okay, let me go ahead and address that right quick here. Let me get Amber off the screen. Let me go ahead and address that right quick here tonight. She's talking about let me go ahead and die. Yeah, I heard that. I'm not going to gloss over that or paper over that. She's talking very picayune. Look it up. She's talking very dismissively about dying. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. That's not mental health. You're not supposed to be cavalier about that unless you're talking about sacrificing your life for a worthy cause. That wasn't what she was talking about. She's like, well, if it's over, it's over. All those men on top of you, and it's beaten the zest and the zeal for life out of you. That's problematic. When the life you've lived has beaten the zest for life out of you, that's a problem. Yeah, we all heard her say that. Don't look for me to make a YouTube short out of that because they'll flag it. But we all heard that. You wanted reality radio? You got it. We heard that. Did that sound to you like she's okay with where she's been? 35 years old and talking like Tupac about dying. Talking like Biggie about dying. Talking like the young black males we all listened to back in the 90s about dying. You're looking at her and saying, my goodness, you take a look at her. What the hell is she talking about dying for? Because what you don't see her the way she sees herself. And the problem comes in acting like you're okay. I'll go to therapy the rest of my life. Oh my goodness, do you hear that? What she's saying is, I can never be fixed. I'm broken and I can never be fixed. I don't believe you can fix it. She's got no patience for men lying to her, except the ones she wants lying. Don't tell her that she can fix this. She knows she can't. She would have to find an extraordinary individual to overlook this. No, I meant what I said, ma'am. You'd have been better off getting a job at Five Guys or making snow cones and get you a husband when you were 20 years old than to take the path that you did. Look where it took you, 35 years old. And if she got hit by a Greyhound bus, she's talking as if it wouldn't faze her. Beauty is currency. Let me say that again. Beauty is currency. It is. Let's stop talking bull jive to each other. Beauty is currency. The women who spend it wisely will find themselves with a financial windfall and plenty to gain and cash out with. The women who don't will find themselves paupers with no more value left. And that's a hell of a place to end up at 35. I'm not going to sit up here and bomb on her too badly, despite her behavior earlier tonight. I'm not going to bomb on her too badly here. I feel sorry for you, Bethany. I pity you, Bethany. Y'all, she was wilding out before she ever got on here. Amber, I ain't gonna bring you into it, but you were listening too, so you know I'm not lying on her. She was already lit before she ever got on here. She was talking and rambling before she ever got on here. I'm not gonna make you testify, but you were there before we got on the air. You were there. That's why you all heard Bethany talking when I logged on. I can say that part. I told everybody 10 seconds before we go on, and Bethany starts talking again. Well, is it which one are we going to start with here? I told her everybody be quiet 10 seconds before we go on. She started talking again. Yeah, she's lit and every damn thing else. That's why when we logged on, that's why you all heard her voice talking. Yeah, that's why that happened. And I'm saying I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you that you actually told yourself you could wing this alone. Because you know it ain't true. And you hated us talking about younger females because you're like, wait a minute, I can be anything you want me to be. I can be cuter, I can be smarter, I can be blacker, I can be whiter, I can be taller, I can be shorter. Can you be 22 years old? Well, yeah, she took grievous offense at that. She's like, how dare you demand I can be the one thing I can't be? What'd you do with your 20s? Well, you can go pick it up on adultdvd.com. You can go watch my 20s. Then she starts talking cavalier about the end of our lives. No, I'm not here to beat down on you, Bethany. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you that wherever you came from, she's talking about Russia or whatever, wherever you came from, it was not the environment it needed to be. It was not the environment that it needed to be. And maybe you did what you felt you had to do at the time. I am telling you, it wasn't worth the cost in that regard, because now you are married to a bunch of bad decisions. It wasn't worth the cost in that regard. It wasn't worth it. Let me get caller from area code 816. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from 816. Last try. Caller from 816 has been abducted. Caller from area code 424. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Nelson out of California.
Nelson out of California. What's on your mind?
What was that?
Niggas, stop arm wrestling the phone. What is on your mind, such as it is?
Well, I'm just curious how women think they're at a high level right now. Yeah, they might be succeeding with income wise, but they're, like you say, they're getting old single. And it's funny that I went to counseling today, and my counselor is 45 and single, which is a woman, and she says she got 4 dogs and 3 cats and a kid that she's going to grow up with. And I said, well, you're not going to have no companionship. So how do we feel about this in the world?
That's the reason why I tell females, if you have a female therapist, you're doomed. I have literally never in my life met a female therapist who was worth a damn. I'm just going to say that right here on the air for everybody. I've never met a single female therapist, professional psychiatrist, mental health professional. I've never met a single one who was worth a damn. Every single one of them I met, I was like, damn, heifer, you need to be on the couch. Instead of talking to somebody on one, you need to be on medication instead of talking to somebody on one. I haven't met a single female with a degree in psychology, psychiatry credentials. I haven't met a single one with a mental health practice who deserved to be there. She needs to be in treatment. She doesn't need to be treating other people. The only time I've ever seen that go well is if there was a man. Now, if they had a man, generally speaking, they did better. I'm not going to say those were great results either, but at least they had a chance. The females just get together and comfort each other in their dysfunction. They don't ever say, hey, you're messed up and let's stop that. They literally sit there and dismantle their lives. If you got a problem with your parents, they throw the parents overboard. You got a problem with your man, they throw the man overboard. They don't help anybody fix their situation. Their idea of helping you, quote, fix it is, well, you need to get away from everybody. And then the next thing you know, it's just you and the therapist, which is what Tanikia was saying earlier. Yeah, it's just her and the therapist. The only constant in their lives after a decade or 2 decades is their therapist. Can't you see you being pimped?
I disagree. I have a female therapist.
Say again.
I have a female therapist and she's great. So I disagree with the analogy that all female therapists are not good therapists.
Says you.
Says me, yeah.
Yes. Ambar, are we really gonna do this?
Let's do it.
Ambar, are we really gonna do this? Y'all know I love Amber. She's gonna make me do this. Amber, will you give me just a moment? Let me get this open. I gotta go ahead and say whatever you gonna say while I'm unscrewing this.
I have seen amazing women therapists, women psychologists, women who are in the mental health industry. So I think to say all of them are bad, I think is a big judgment. When I've rarely seen men in that field. I've rarely seen men being therapists or in the field of psychology.
Amber. Comrade. Boobala. Amber. There's Amber, are you really gonna make me say it?
Say what you got. I just have to say my piece. I disagree that female therapists are not capable of doing their job just as well as men are. I disagree that they're not able to reach goals or get people to be where they need to be just because they're female. And, just being a teacher, right? Like I'm a teacher. That's what I do. So like I'm always around female therapists. That's all there is in the school systems. Like there's rarely males.
And how are the children turning out?
I mean, I feel like they're doing well.
Man,
could things be better though? I think there's also just a shortage, period, for therapists. Especially in the schools. Schools are not paying.
Those professions are dominated by females. And take a look at the results we're seeing with the children.
I agree. I do agree that we need more male in the
even for the most impressionable children, are the most impressionable creatures. And take a look at the results we're getting there. And I'm not saying it is, quote, because they are female. I am saying that female culture today has the psychological profession has been infiltrated by a feminist gynocentric culture that says, first and foremost, we need to protect ourselves as women and circle the wagons. That's what this, quote, profession has deteriorated and degenerated into. We need to circle the wagons. Who cares if we totally destroy this woman's life? Who cares if we take it and leave her alone in shambles? Better me getting the money out of her than for her to actually have a life worth living, because you got folk who cannot help you to solve your problems. They tell you the only solution to everything is to run from it. That's why people don't trust marriage counselors anymore. They're like divorce lawyers. Their answer to everything is, well, you need to leave. Well, y'all need to quit there. You'll go pay them thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, and all you've really done is let them pick your life apart, person by person, day by day, year by year. And ultimately, this destroys the women. A woman with a house full of cats or dogs, that's a woman whose psyche is destroyed. She's dead. She's walking dead. And there's no shortage of psychologists who will sit there and placate her. No shortage whatsoever. They'll all sit there and be like, hey, this is great. This will work out. You go ahead. Come back and see me next week. Then she goes from being your psychiatrist to being your friend. She's not your therapist anymore. She's your buddy. I've seen it a million damn times. There's a reason that men don't go to church like that, Amber. You know why? Because we understand. How in the hell you gonna tell me that to become a lawyer, I can go to school for 8 years, become a doctor, I can go to school for 10 years, but to understand the Bible, I can't ever stop coming. I have to come for the rest of my life. You're telling me I can never master it. Well, what's the point of me, quote, learning it if I can never master it? What's the point? Why in the world should we start this? It must be a very inadequate teacher if I have to show up for the rest of my days. If I can never master it, what's the point of beginning this? And men are not going to sit up here and let somebody sit up here and tell them something like that. Because we got to lead. Because there are consequences if we're incompetent. That's problematic. That is problematic. I'm just going to say this. This is all I'm going to say. And to the extent that I can, I will say this as diplomatically as possible, because Amber is somebody that I personally like. So I'm not going to sit up here and give her the people's elbow. What I will say is I have never met a female who was romantic with both men and women and everything was okay. I've never seen a single one. It's really not possible because you cannot get the same thing from both of these entities. Having a reflection of yourself only magnifies what you are. There's a reason why men are not attracted to men. It magnifies what we already are. Well, that's the definition of mutations. So I will say that if we're going to go see a therapist, and I will say one thing, if you're seeing a therapist and the therapy never ends, then that's not a great therapist. How long have you been seeing yours?
It's been about 2 years.
Okay. We about ready to wrap it up, or we still got work to do?
I think I still have a couple. I still have work to do,
That
but I do
sounds
see.
so familiar.
I do see a future stop though. Like I do see it coming to an end soon, but I do feel like I still need at least a year or so. I'm raising children though. I need therapy.
Well, I'm sure it probably helps. I'm certainly, I don't have any children, so I guess that's part of the reason I don't need it quite so much. If I keep taking calls like this, I'm going to need something worse than probably a lobotomy at this point here. We're well beyond therapy for Jason, let me tell you. We might need electroshock therapy here shortly. But what I will say is, by definition, you would never have a doctor who you kept going back to and you stayed sick. You'd never keep a mechanic who you kept having to bring your car back to for the exact same problem. You would never keep a doctor who you kept going back to for a dentist who you kept going back to for the exact same tooth problem, a mechanic for the exact same car issue, a roofer for the exact same roof issue. You would never keep them. And you would never let them tell you, well, you need me to come by every year so we can make sure you properly maintain. Dude, my problem has never been fixed. Yeah, but let me keep coming back every year so I can tinker on it some more. that's not, he might be a mechanic. He's just not a very good one.
But I also think that humans, we're in different evolutions, right? So like what might be my problem last year may not be my problem maybe in 6 years, right?
Nonsense.
Like, so I feel like that's also the difference. Like, I feel like maybe 6 years ago, everything was great, but maybe 6 years later, I lost somebody, right? Or maybe I, fell into drugs, or maybe I fell into a different lifestyle and I want to get out. Like, so I feel like when we talk about human and the evolution of humans, I feel like every year looks different from the year before. And every decade may look different from another decade, right? And so, like, I think that's where therapy could be different, because maybe a year ago I was diagnosed with anxiety, but maybe the year later now I'm diagnosed with depression, right? So like I feel like when it comes to mental health, it's different. However, I do agree that like you do want to be able to see yourself grow and grow out of those things, and like if you have to come back in 6 years for something else, then it's different. But I feel like, yes, staying in the same thing with a deadly cycle for more than extended times, like I think definitely is something to be,
here's the issue. As you get older, you are naturally supposed to acclimate. You're naturally supposed to get better at dealing with your problems. As you get older, you're naturally supposed to be able to do that. So that's another part of, as you get in 6 years, you're supposed to be better at dealing with things in 6 years with no outside help. If you need outside help the older you get, that's a failure to mature. That's not maturing. That's a failure to do so. As human beings, as you understand, we are naturally acclimating creatures. We naturally acclimate to our environment. You're supposed to naturally adapt to it. If you're going decade after decade and you're not getting better at adaptation, that's the problem. And do you have people who are aiding in that, or do you have people who are just enabling it? Because there's a profit motive. And we've got a society now where it's all about helping people be comfortable in their broken conditions, rather than saying you need to grow up and be a whole person. I'm not saying about you personally necessarily, but if you're still in therapy in 3 or 4 years, we might have to think about that at that point. If it's going on that long, because like you said, well, I got kids, maybe they ain't sitting around you that long. So I can see it different if they were Vikings sailing overseas and burning down villages and stuff. Well, maybe you need some therapy. I don't think it's going to be that kind of situation there if it gets that far along. But definitely when there's no exit in sight, that's an engineered situation. That's engineered. Because here's the real thing about it. I talk to people all the time. It doesn't take me years to get those issues resolved for them. So what is wrong with the psychological profession that Jason Black can do it in a couple of conversations and these people can't do it in 2 or 3 years? And I don't have a degree in it. What's the difference between us? One of us believes there is an answer, and the answer isn't to keep talking to you until you quote unquote figure it out. The answer is to identify where you're messed up at and tell you, hey, I'm the rational person in the room. I have no dog in this fight. I don't benefit if you listen to me. I've already been paid. I don't lose anything if you don't listen. Already been paid. Outside of this, you're not paying me one way or the other. I get my money somewhere else. So I can talk to you brutally honestly. I'm not trying to have sex with you. We had a sexual expert on here tonight. She got upset because I ain't interested in sex with you. I can tell you what I actually think with no filter. Yeah, I can do that. These other folks have a profit motive, and a person should be naturally suspicious in that kind of situation. Because as men, we would be hella suspicious. We've been seeing this person for 3 or 4 years, and the issue's not resolved. Well, you might have a new issue. Yeah, that's one way of saying it. But the real thing is, do I have a new issue, or did you identify something else? And now you're telling me, you need more help. If you'll remember 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we didn't have all these pharmaceutical ads on TV all the damn time. As people began paying for it more and insurance began covering it more, next thing you know, you got a pill for every damn thing now. Stuff you didn't even know existed. There's a pill for that. So as long as it's a situation now where as long as there's a market, people are just adapting to that environment. That's the issue that I have. Does therapy have a legitimate place? Absolutely it does. Do I believe the way it's being practiced here is effective? Absolutely I don't. as evidenced by the fact that I literally can't think of anybody who went to therapy and got better and could leave. Everybody I know has went to therapy and they're either still there or they left with the same problem. What didn't happen was the problem got resolved. They, quote, feel better about themselves, but their problems didn't get resolved. Let me get caller from area code 443. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is an immigrant B1 from Fort Gordon, Georgia.
All right, immigrant B1 from Fort Gordon. What's on your mind?
So the first thing that I wanted to say was, I think it's obvious that even your college educated black people understand the value of their bodies, because you can see what happened with that college graduate from FAMU, where she graduated, and the first thing that she thought about doing was taking a naked picture of herself. So even your college students understand what they understand what their physical bodies mean to men, which is the reason why they do stuff like that. So I think that, everybody can see. And the second thing another thing I want to ask you is, when you spoke about a church and you said that it wasn't something that where you should have to go to for the rest of your life, what place do you think that the church should have everything else being the way it's supposed to be in the lives of black people as a group?
Well, I mean, it's like anything else. At some point, we're supposed to be masters of it. Think about the 12 apostles. The 12 disciples who became the 12 apostles. They didn't just stay there forever. At a certain point, they became the teachers. Do you see what I mean? At a certain point, they became the teachers. Disciples simply means student. But at a certain point, they stopped being disciples, and the reins were handed to them, and they became the apostles. It literally is telling you that they went from being the students to being the teachers. You don't see that today at all. Not just one of them now, not just one of them, all 12 of you, what they called the Great Commission, when Jesus told them, go forth into the earth and spread the word to every corner of the earth and every creature. That wasn't just one of them that was given that. That was all of them. And yet today, you're being parked in front of TD Jakes or Creflo Dollar and being told, oh, you can never master this. You need to come back every week. And you can see how damn flawed the damn preachers are up there. But you're being told that you're less than them? Really? And they've mastered it, but you never can? When y'all going to recognize game is getting run? So if you want to know what the case of the black church is, if it gets back to what it was, but I will tell you one thing. You should never have any institution and whatnot that has more influence over you than your best interests do. Now, that should never be the case. And right now, the church has a lot of work to do to convince me that it's got people's best interests at heart as a group, that the church as a group, as an entity, as an institution, as exercised today, they have a lot of work to do to convince me of that. Because right now, the church has been overtaken by a bunch of opportunists who are doing what is in their best interests. And that's why the congregation's got a bunch of single moms, STDs, bastard kids, crazy little old ladies. The men have gone AWOL. That's the issue. So the church would need to resolve that. The church is supposed to be something that empowers us. What's the place of the church in our lives? It's supposed to be something that empowers us. And right now, it is not. If that changes, then it won't have to fight for its place back. It'll have it.
Yeah, I see.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me take one more caller here. Let me get caller from area code 404. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller from 404. Am I interrupting something? You're on live. Okay, caller from 404 is trying to do something out there. So hopefully they're not being strangled or abducted here. Amber, it's been a heck of an evening here. I promised you that things were going to be interesting. I didn't think it was going to go off the rails, but oh well. Sometimes that happens too. So I want to thank you for joining us here tonight and sticking in. Let me tell you, boy, did y'all think she was going to be the most rational, level-headed person in the room? Did you ever think that was going to be the case? And yet there she is. So congratulations. You have survived this broadcast of The Business. Congratulations. You have done an excellent
job. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'll let you have the last word if you would like to, ma'am.
No, I just want to say thank you, but then also just, this is a lot. I think it was a lot. I didn't expect it to go the way it went, for sure. But I definitely think there was a lot to learn, a lot to understand and to unpack, but then also a lot to just sink in, right? Like there is a lot going on in the world. And I do think that everybody's going through their battles and they're fighting their battles, but necessarily, I just hope that everybody does well and gets well and does what they have to do moving forward. But thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us here tonight. I appreciate that as always. You've been a doll. So, and she has survived this broadcast of The Business here. Hey, well, like I say, you all want reality radio. You got it. That's exactly what it is. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Hey, and a big thanks to everybody who contributed to tonight's program here on PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Very sorry I didn't see all the names that came up at the top of the program here, but you all can catch that on the replay here. Yes, this is going to stay on YouTube. I'm not taking it down or anything. I'm not going to take it down. YouTube might take it down, but I'm not going to take it down. So tonight's program is going to stay there. Hey, there was a hell of a whole lot to learn. There was a hell of a whole lot for you all to learn here. It was real. It was raw. It was the way it was. I'm not a fanboy. If I was in front of Brittany Renner, I would have talked the exact same way I did here tonight. There ain't no light skin privilege. There's no mixed chick privilege here. You get it as it comes. That's simple as it is. And that's just the bottom line to it. So just understand here, everybody knows what they're getting into in this case here. And if your life has rubbed you so raw that you're this sensitive about it, you might want to examine what you've been doing. I think that's a better way of getting through that. I want to thank all of you for being here for this broadcast of The Business. We're going to have our patron here tomorrow, so be looking for an update on that. I'll be letting you know. I'm on the road right now, so I'm going to be letting you all know when I'm going to be able to do the patron here, but I'm planning on doing one tomorrow. If I might have to postpone it until Sunday, it just depends, but I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you all for showing up here. Been a hell of a ride. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and sisters around the world, remember, handle your business or your business is going to handle you.